The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, just stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Yeah, more coffee.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get the close up on Oz.
It's not
Oz.
It's not Irish. Oh, hold on. That's you're not supposed to see that. And of course, it's fitting that it fell apart. Video coming soon.
Indeed. Next, he is our riddle. Inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Okay, what's up?
What's up with you, Jay? Right. Okay.
Oh, it's one of those days, huh?
He's the backbone, the pillar, the strict of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
1 minute 41 seconds. That's
Right, exactly.
Somebody
Needs to
needs
be
a
like
platform right now.
that needs to be like a J gif right there for real.
what's up with you, Jay?
As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking to you all about the latest Disney Plus show, Miss Marvel. We're going to be talking to you all about the premiere of The Boys, and we're going to be talking to you all about the horror comic The Closet from James Tynion IV. So we get all that, and plus whatever else it is you all want to talk about. So before we do all that, though, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the entire show would not have happened. So thanks, Scott Rubin. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, with that said, we can tell you how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum. Here's how.
Oh, shit.
Here's
Here's
how.
Apparently, you can't. How about that?
No, it's not.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
There it is. Thank you very much, intern. Like she said, go to fantasticforum.live if you want to jump in on the show. You have opinions on Miss Marvel, on The Boys, on The Closet, whatever else. You know, you can go there to become a part of the Fantastic Forum. You can jump into our chat room where we'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show. Such as, do we have any witty chat comments today yet, Jay?
No.
Jay's like,
Actually,
I'm playing something else.
Harry Clark says, "Hey, Fantastic Forum. Did you guys catch that latest episode of Obi-Wan?
Right,
It was
exactly. That's exactly what Tiger like.
Barn burner.
It's a real barn burner. Yeah. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you can always drop your comments into chat there. We'll see them. So feel free. Did you all watch Obi-Wan this week yet?
I did, yeah. It actually got good.
I watched 3.
You watched 3 episodes.
The
you
third
watched.
episode.
Oh, okay. But you haven't seen 4 yet.
Yeah, the time slot I would have watched this week's, I watched the Miss Marvel.
Got you. I understand. Now, when you say, Jay, you say it got good. You mean like you feel like it was bad before this moment, or?
No, it was good. It just got really good. Like
They showed a dead kid.
They
Did they?
did. They
Yeah.
did.
They showed a dead young.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, he's just there. Like, he's just there in a little like crypt, like with the little hat and everything. Like they literally just picked him up from the floor of the temple. Like,
which is really like morbid.
yeah.
Like, and I'm not talking about just the youngling. I'm just talking about like the entire setup of the whole thing. It's just like, dude, like, man, this fool really hates Jedi, huh?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I don't know. It's like, so it's an interesting thing because I feel like that kind of, like, we all know Darth Vader is a Sith.
Yeah.
You know, that he's a Sith Lord. And we know that Sith Lords thrive on hate. But you don't get, like, that hate from Darth Vader in the original trilogy. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't come across like hate.
Yeah.
It comes across more like this fool's, like, really annoyed that there's a Jedi around still. You know what I mean? You know, and I get it. Like, Luke Skywalker is not Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's not the other Jedi from before. Like, you know, and that's one thing that I feel like you can definitely give Hayden Christensen his props in episode 3 in Revenge of the Sith, where it's like, you know, this fool comes across like he hates these people now. You know?
And it's a physical fucking performance because he's not emoting with his face. He's like just the way he holds his hand. And it really, like, what I told Emily and Liz when we were watching, like, man, somebody's been reading them comics. Because that's like, literally like the opening scene in that Vader comic. That's that feel you get here. But just the pose, the camera angle, like, it paid homage to that. I don't even know how hard they were trying to do that, but it's just that influence. Like, it's synergies.
What 100%. Like, I was gonna say, like, I do feel like, you know, the only place you see that really is in the comics, and you know, you might get some of it in some of the novels.
Yeah, but
you know, well, I mean, you know, but what I'm saying is more so like I think the main idea is that there's a, like, and you hit the nail on the head. There's a certain kind of physicality or a sort of language that's spoken with the body when it comes to like that kind of hate, that visceral hate coming through. And I'm like, damn, like,
it's
like Darth Vader in this joint is scary. You know what I'm saying? He is scary in this joint. Like, I was watching today's episode, and there's a point where this fool's walking down the hallway, and he's walking really fast. I'm like, oh, schmack, Darth Vader's pissed. You know, where I was like, oh, schmack, Darth Vader is about to mess around and mess someone's whole world up. And it turned out, I was like, oh, damn.
And it's weird
catching the rat.
It's weird because when you think of Darth Vader moving fast, like, it's kind of comical, you know, because he's just kind of clunky robot, you know, no limp, no nothing. But when I see a fast-moving Vader figure, I just think Rick Moranis, you know.
Right. No, I hear that.
I didn't feel that when I watched the show. Like, they did it right. Yeah.
No. And you're right, because again, by the time we get to the original trilogy, like, Darth Vader is cool, man. He's like, dude, I'm like, man, I had thought about Jedi and I don't know how long, man. You know, you know, he's like, I don't got nothing to worry about from this dude. This guy, this kid? Yeah, man. And he's like, oh, I figured out who that is. He's like, oh, I know you. He's like, I'm your pops.
Well, think about what he did to Obi-Wan in episode 3 when he runs into him. And by the time of that movie, he's just like, yeah.
Right. Exactly. He's like, you know what, man? He's like, listen, the student has become the teacher. He's like, I'm not even sweating you. He's like, oh, you're just going to give up? Good. So, you know, but yeah, it's good stuff. If you haven't watched Obi-Wan this week, you should definitely do that. The Black Adam trailer came out as well. Did you all check that out?
I didn't see a Black Adam trailer. What I did see was a JSA trailer.
Like, I would be lying to you if I did not say I had that exact same thought when I watched it too.
This
is kind of like, huh?
I loved watching that though.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Mark Guggenheim's run on Justice Society, where it was like,
Mm,
you know, I think Black Adam was the one in it too, where he just fucked everybody up, you know, like
mm,
Mr. Terrific, like lost his brain. The Jay Garrick got crippled, you know, uh,
mm-hmm.
or is it Alan Scott got crippled and he had to use that robot, like he has braces essentially made out of the constructs holding his body.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah, that's wild, man. Like, it's interesting just because, I mean, I will say that when they decided to cast The Rock as Black Adam, in my mind, I was like, that feels like a really perfect kind of casting decision to me.
yeah.
I feel like The Rock can pull that character off. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't looking for a Black Adam movie. I was looking for The Rock to be cast as a villain in a Captain Marvel movie or, you know, a Shazam movie. Freaking DC, give it up, but whatever. You know, but however, Oz is like, I'm out. I'm like, but
Talking shit about DC again.
I know he's like, I won't stand for it. I'm not mad at him. Yeah, I'm not mad at him at all. But the fact is, I was looking forward to him playing that role and having, you know, because I mean, I'm a fan of Dwayne Johnson just in general. I mean, you know, like I think like I like him in most of the roles that he plays. And so, you know, but I will say, you know, coming off of this initial actual trailer, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm not sure this is the movie that I want to see. Like, you know, if you're going to make a Black Adam movie anyway, again, it's not what I'm looking for to start with. But if you're going to do it, I'm not sure that this is what I want to see. And then the thing that really bugged me, well, there's a few things that bugged me, but the thing that bugged me the most is the cape. Like, why doesn't he have a cape most of the time? Like, yeah, there's a point where he gets like the little hood and the cape, but you know, like, I mean, Black Adam generally has a cape, right?
No, he never has it.
He has a Captain Marvel sash.
Yeah, but he never has a cape.
No, he said Captain Marvel sash.
Well, he has like a gold sash belt thing.
Like the same thing that Kamala Khan wore to the convention in the like,
Yeah, cover up his butt so they don't stare.
That's what it's like. That's what he has.
And then
So,
eventually
damn.
they actually turned it into a belt, but originally it was just a sash.
Okay, so traditionally Black Adam has no cape.
Right. Like he wears like the regal
sash.
once he's like the king of the nation or whatever, he
Yeah.
wears something like regal, but not as part of this. When he goes into action, he's got no cape.
So the sash has like a long tether. Is that what it is?
A little bit, yeah, a little longer than
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the one
Okay,
that has
so then, like,
Black Mary has has a cape.
Okay, and you know me. I'm not like I don't roll deep into Captain Marvel / Shazam lore, so I very well might be misremembering, and I can acknowledge that. Either way, what I will say is I'm not a big fan of the suit either. Like the suit has a weird kind of, yeah, like I don't know, like
it's weird. It's weird looking at a dude that wears a suit and it looks like a t-shirt, as opposed to the bone that was all over Levi, whatever.
Levi.
Well, he
I mean,
asked him to take the foam out.
He did.
Yeah.
Good.
After the first movie.
No,
No,
you're talking about the Rock did though, right?
Yeah. He asked him to take the foam out of the Black Adam suit.
Why would
Yeah, that makes sense.
why would somebody look at the Rock and think, you know what, foam?
Because that's your folks over at Warner Brothers, man. That's how silly those people are. but I feel like the texture of the suit is my issue. That texture they're using could work for the lightning bolt, maybe. But I feel like the whole suit shouldn't be that. Like it's all one. It's different colors, but it's a weird kind of thing that I'm like, man, I feel like the suit itself should be like a different kind of thing. And you know, that it's nitpicky. Like I feel like the.
Oh, go ahead, Larry. No,
No, I was just saying I feel like The Rock's gonna do a good job with it, but I wish it would look different. But go ahead, Mo.
I've kind of been like soured. Like I don't expect anything to look good. So anytime I can like it, even if it's like 60%, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go in this trying to enjoy it because I mean, hating on it never got me anywhere.
Right.
Like
That.
all it did was get me aggravated when I go try to have a good time with my wife and my friends. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
like,
No, you're right.
So let's focus on what I enjoyed. I mean, Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate, man. I'm like, I was pissed because what I hated was I didn't see him wear the helmet in that bowl.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's like about to put it on and then it cuts away.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck. Like I wanted to see that, but
That's
seeing
good casting too.
yeah, seeing Hawkman and that little exchange Hawkman and and Black Adam have, like, I'm like, dang, like this is gonna be like a JSA movie. I just how much of the JSA are we gonna see?
Right.
Not enough.
Right. No, you're right.
Can we do like a crowdfunding to get a costume made for Jay? Like I want to see him as Black Adam.
Yeah, I think we could do that. Jay's ready. Look, he has that look in his eye. Like,
yeah, he's already ruling over a nation with all that power.
Yeah,
I mean,
$10
at Party City, we're done. Right?
A state of the empire.
The spirit of Halloween or whatever.
Yeah, man. You could be the Black's Adam.
Oh, now he's in.
Okay, well there it is.
17 minutes in another Jay's.
Interestingly enough, I just looked up the Black Adam costume. The movie version costume has a cape. Then there's the classic version that
okay.
So everybody out there thinking like Lawrence.
I thought he had a cape. And I mean, it very well might be like the hood and the sash. Like that might be something that they just kind of did in the New 52, and maybe that's like a good portion of my impression of a lot of DC heroes is like New 52 stuff, and it's like the ones that I didn't have a strong impression of before New 52. That's the version that probably just sits in my head. You know what I mean? So, Black Adam isn't somebody that I was like, oh man, I got to check out what's the latest with him before the New 52. So it's like, okay, say what you will. But anyway, listen, we need to get on to some more important stuff, like some real Fantastic Four business that needs to happen right now. We're coming up on, I think, what would have been E3 week, right?
Yeah.
But E3 is not happening this year.
Right.
So, it is what it is. But there's still a lot of people, a lot of video game companies are going to be doing all their presentations. Oh, is it next week? Oh, that's awesome.
No, July 4th weekend.
Oh, well, it's June, right?
I corrected myself.
Okay, whatever. Important Fantastic Forum business. I need you to focus. So, it looks like, the rumor is, word on the street is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is coming out next week.
Nice.
So we need to figure out what system we're buying this game for so that we can all play together. Because the last thing I want to do is make an assumption or buy it on the system that I want to buy it on, and then everybody else buys it on a different system, or one of you buys it on a different system, and next thing you know, the four of us can't play together, and we're all like looking at each other like, why would you do this?
Isn't it crossplay?
I don't know. Is it?
Well, I thought we get it on Steam. I think it is crossplay.
Steam?
But just in case, we should get it on Steam.
Steam? Jay, what conversation have you had with the members of Fantastic Forum that makes you feel like we're PC gamers?
All the modes.
Well, I only buy Steam games now.
No, I hear what you do. What I'm saying is, what conversation did you have with Moses, myself, or Oz that makes you feel like what we do is PC game?
Look, I think y'all might want to make an exception so we can play this game together.
Chase like Steve is where it's at for
But
this
technically, I
game.
can play Steam on my phone, right?
I think so.
Because if
That don't
that's
sound very
now, the
confident.
only issue is if we sign into our Twitch, because we're gonna make content out of this, right? Because that's the easiest way. So the easiest way
That's
to
the
do
plan.
voice
We
chat
want.
and to stream it would be straight from a PS4, because that has you can just stream right off the bat. You can just log into Twitch on that and stream from that. While you
Okay,
play.
you can do the same thing on Xbox too, though, right?
I don't know. I never done it. I'm logged in on my PS4,
Gotcha.
but
Jay,
not
do
up.
you have a
Not the
PS4?
Fantastic Forum one.
No, I don't.
Okay,
Gotcha.
but if you can do it on Xbox,
You have a
then I'm
PS4?
cool.
What?
You have a PS4, Oz?
I do,
He has
but it
a
doesn't matter
PS5.
if Jay doesn't.
Okay.
So technically, I mean, if we all have Xbox One, right? But if you need me
I
to
have
buy
an
a
X.
Series X, I'll do that.
Damn.
For the
Okay,
show.
Money Magnum. He's just like
Nah, it's
it's
credit
a
Magnum,
tax
yeah.
write off.
That's credit.
Credit Magnum. Wait. So, Jay, do you have an Xbox?
I have the
Why
one
do you
Oz
have to
gave
look?
me.
Like
We
we
just heard it earlier.
That's true, but I don't know. That doesn't look. That sound like that could have been a 360, right? For all we know, it's the same sound.
I have that too. We could play it on that.
No, we can't. It's not coming to 360.
What type of bullshit is that?
Where did you hear it coming out next week?
Like,
Huh?
I'm still buying Game Boy Advance games.
But you're playing them on Switch.
No, like you can they sell. There's companies. We get the press releases on our Fantastic Forum stuff. These games come out for Game Boy Advance. You can buy the little cartridge and play them if you still have a
Oh,
Game
nice.
Boy Advance.
Got you. So yeah, I mean, do you have? Wait, so we all have an Xbox, like a current generation Xbox, or
I have
basically
Xbox One.
Xbox One, yeah, but I mean Xbox One and Xbox like S and Series X, like all that stuff can play together, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
I only use Game Pass, and it seems like that's
Yeah,
cross
exactly.
support with that. So
Right.
but I would
You
buy
have one of
the
those
Game
two, Oz?
I'm still trying to figure out what makes you think it's coming out next week.
That's
The
the rumor.
rumors, man.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's the. You know how it goes before E3. Like people, like the stuff is getting put together, so
That doesn't
people
mean
see
it's
it now.
Coming out. That means like it's a gameplay trailer or something.
Dude, listen
we
to
already
me.
saw that.
Credible sources say it's coming out next week, man. Like I can give you a date if you want it.
And if it doesn't, then those sources will never be credible again.
No, they just were wrong.
So look, hypothetically, if it were to come out tomorrow, what should I buy it on? Is what we need to know before we go into this.
Right. Right, exactly. Let me ask you this question: does everybody have a Switch?
Yes,
It's lying.
but you
around.
can't stream to Twitch from the Switch. You should
That's
be able
true.
to. It rhymes, but logistically, I mean, you can logistically. It's a
It's just
nightmare.
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I give you that. I will give you that. So I agree with you 100% that it makes more sense to do it from like a PlayStation or an Xbox because it's probably integrated.
Yeah. I mean, I
So-
have a capture card, so I can do it, but I don't have the OBS on this computer.
Ugh, got you. No,
But I mean, I
Like,
can put it, you know.
we'll make it as easy as possible. So like I think that it sounds like Xbox is the way that we need to try to go then, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody has right now. Like, unless you want to mess around and want to buy Jay a PlayStation 4. But I think just playing the Xbox makes more sense to me.
I don't think he wants
you
a
know.
Sony because didn't they screw him over?
I don't
They
want.
censor stuff.
Yeah, I'm moving away from consoles. There's Like, and it's not like Steam. There's zero censorship on Steam, but
Yeah.
it's a lot less.
And there's a
Yeah,
lot of
on
variety.
Microsoft. Yeah, that's why I'm moving over to Steam and I stopped buying games for
Now,
Xbox.
if it was
and-
crossplay, it'd be dope because then we can just,
Yeah,
I
that would be
can play
great.
on my
People just buy them
phone
what they want.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on.
Mhm.
PS4, not PS5,
What about
I don't have a
PS5?
PS5.
but it's not coming out on PS5.
No, it's coming on PS4. Nothing's coming out on PS5.
Can my PS5
Wait.
play it?
Wait, why would it not come out on PS5?
Because
I don't know. I've
nobody
not seen
has it. Like, why are you gonna print a bunch of copies on something that nobody has?
Well, the game is digital. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Like, I'm pretty sure it's digital only, or it might be like, they're doing like
I'm
maybe
out.
limited run games. What do you mean you're out? What are you
I want the
talking
little
about?
box.
What's the
Limited
difference
run
between-
game?
What's the difference between Shredder's Revenge and the Cowabunga collection?
The Cowabunga collection are old games put together,
Oh, that's
And
the
then-
old nonsense. I don't need that.
and then Shredder's
Yeah.
Revenge is a new game, even though it's in like the old style, but it's a new
It
game.
even the Cowabunga collection even has that terrible NES Turtles game
Whoa,
like
hey man,
included.
hey, don't talk bad about that game. That game is a classic, okay? Just because it was hard
Well,
enough or so hard that you can play it, don't be mad at it.
No, I beat it multiple times with these.
Does it have-
Sure you did. Uh-huh. I was
I
there.
never got good at the
Died.
underwater stage.
Does the
Oh,
collection
so
have
hard.
the Hyperstone
So
Heights? on it?
Yes.
The Sega one. Yeah. Okay, I'm in.
Dude, it pretty much
It
has
even has
every
the
Ninja
Genesis
Turtle game.
fighting game on it, which was
Yeah.
not even a Turtles game. It was just reskinned.
Yeah.
But
That's
it was
why
good, though.
April's fighting in a mini skirt.
We had a lot of fun playing that game.
Do they have that on
Mhm.
Switch? The collection.
That's a good question.
Physical copy
I
has
would assume.
the physical copy has a VHS style box and slip
That is
cover.
true.
Does it come
Yeah.
with a coupon for pizza?
Yes. Pizza Hut.
No, not the Cowabunga collection, right?
No. I'm talking about Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge, yeah.
All right. So Xbox it is, right? That's the easy answer. Like
I
we
mean,
can
I have the new Xbox. Will it work on that?
I'm just gonna
Yes.
pray that it's cross-platform.
Oh, you
Well,
son of a bitch.
Now, I think if you get it on Steam, I think Steam usually works with Xbox, right? Because they're both Microsoft.
Sometimes they do. Well, Steam is not Microsoft, right?
So it's not
Steam.
Apple.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
it's not
Apple,
Apple, but that don't make it Microsoft.
It kind of
It just runs on a PC. It's not the same thing.
it's Microsoft.
but I don't
Okay.
I can't play Steam. I don't
You
have a
can play
computer
Xbox.
that's
I'm
strong
saying
enough.
Steam and Xbox usually work together.
So,
right?
so
Okay,
what?
Am I wrong about that?
It
I
sounds
don't
like we need to
understand-
find
no.
out.
No understand los Nintendos. No.
No
Listen,
Nintendo.
I'll tell you right now, if it does end up being crossplay, I'm probably going to buy it on Switch because that's where I
Yeah.
would like to play it.
Just
But-
what Nintendo.
It's probably not going to be. So I'm
I-
more than happy to buy it on Xbox.
I have fun playing Switch. So
hmm Okay, cool. I'm glad that we've gotten that unsettled.
Even though
but that, okay, well here's the thing. If we end up getting on Switch, then who's gonna stream to our
Jay, because
but his
because
connection solid?
because Jay's going to be on
That connection's
Steam.
pretty good.
No, but if he's on Steam, then he can't
Yeah,
because
no, I know you're right. You're
Yeah.
well. I will say you're
Why
absolutely
not?
right because I don't know what Joe's internet's like
because
today.
you can't do it. You can't natively stream the Twitch from within the game like you can on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah,
You
so we
have to
should
get
just it on
separate. You have to get a
Xbox.
separate software, capture card, all that.
I'm not gonna fight you on the separate software, but I'm pretty sure there's a game like they sell stuff on Steam to help you broadcast
Right, but you don't know what it is yet. And if it comes out next week, we're not going to be ready. It's easier to just log in on an Xbox.
I'm telling you, you don't need
Plus,
to
I
wait.
have a
It's not gonna be out
capture
yet.
card, and that'll give me an excuse to like wrap it up or to
Unwrap
hook it
it.
up. No, hook
You'll
it
be
up.
using it as
Like
your
I have
website.
it. What?
Well, look.
Oh, the last time I did that, it blew out the card,
Oh, yeah, never mind.
and then it eventually ended up working again.
Yeah.
But I don't want to chance it again.
Well, you
This
know, yeah.
motherfucker was hard to
Look,
find.
I think we should get it on the easiest platform to stream on.
Yeah, you're right.
Pretty sure that's Steam. Like they have a community page that lets you do all types of shit.
I mean,
But
Well,
you know what?
look, are you going to know exactly how to do it by tomorrow? Because if it comes back next week, that's when you need to know how to do it by. I already know how to do it on Xbox or PlayStation today.
I'll tell you how to do it right now. You point a camera at the TV. Done.
Y'all are wild. Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
No one does anything. We do it super high quality, and then it only works for about 10 minutes, and we.
There it is. That's where the fantastic comes in. Fantastic for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into these reviews. Shall we? Would you all good to start with Miss Marvel?
Ms. Marvel.
Miss.
Ms.
Why? It's not an S. It's a Thunderbolt. I mean, it's not a Z. It's a Thunderbolt.
No, it's not. It's the difference between Miss and Ms. is because she may or may not be married. There's no presumption in it. With Ms. With Miss, it's because for a fact she's single and ready to mingle.
No. Miss and Miss is the same.
No, Ms. and Miss isn't the same.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not,
When you say them, not when you spell them.
Right, but it's pronounced Ms. Marvel for this case.
No.
Even Carol Danvers said that. It's Ms. Marvel to you.
What?
She said that once. When they called her Miss
When?
Marvel, she said it's Ms. Marvel. Don't make no assumptions about me. That's what
We
she
should play the
said.
theme. When?
In the X-Men cartoon when Rogue took her powers.
No, listen. Then that was somebody that was making some mistake back then grammatically as well.
No, it's not. You guys are wrong. And somebody
Man,
Are we
let's
not playing
go.
the TV theme? Like
yeah, that's what I went for.
Oh,
it's Ms.
that's me.
Yeah.
We're out here
Ms.
flipping.
I'm over here.
Ms.
Yeah, I'm here saying this is about Ms.
Also,
No, it's more about gel coat.
When the fourth round would...
Don't you call it?
does it look good already?
Jumbo Scampi for limited.
As much as I love that, I think we might have to shorten it.
It got longer. I don't remember it being that long.
No, that's the thing that's been. It's awesome.
As
You
long
definitely
as
keep the longer version.
it's not longer than how long we had to vamp for it.
Right, that's true. That's true. Anyway, newest Disney Plus show, Miss Marvel.
Ms.
It premiered today. We got one episode, and it's basically an origin episode introducing us to Kamala Khan, to her world, to her friends, to her social status, and introducing us to her getting her powers in the beginning of it. So, gents, what did you all think of the first episode of Miss Marvel? Let's start with you, Oz.
It was fine. No, actually, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
That kid, I forget her name right now, is a surprisingly good actress.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
It was written well enough. Usually, when they write angsty teenagers, they're done so poorly that I end up hating the character.
Mm-hmm.
And but that wasn't the case here. I actually kind of like was rooting for her, even though she's breaking the rules and she's doing the rebellious thing, but at the same time, you don't dislike her for it, like I
Right.
normally do. Like she's not like for lack of a better term, bitchy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and either the actress or the writer, somebody did a decent job with that. It surprised me that I enjoyed it so much. The 80s soundtrack was getting on my nerves a little bit, and they need to
There's
invest.
barely any music in it. Like what 80s soundtrack?
It was all over the place. They need to invest in a tripod because that camera is like just free flowing all over the place. But yeah, those are little nitpicky things. Overall, it was a good show. I still don't like her powers, the way they're represented, and I hate when there's a incredibly powerful mystic object just kind of hanging out like in somebody's attic or in a box, and it's not like it looked like the mom knew what it was when she saw it, and it's just there in a box. It's always weird to me. It's supposed to be some sort of family, especially if it's like a family relic that means something and there's a history to it, especially with this family who is all about family. It's just that's a little weird, but they have to get it out there somehow, and I don't know if I'm ever going to enjoy her powers. They're like a janky busted up Green Lantern ring. Like the monsters don't even look straight.
We should definitely come back to the bangle or the bracelet or whatever a little bit later, but first let's go to Jay. What did you think?
I thought it was boring. Yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. Like I had a couple of good laughs, but only one was like genuine. The other was like, this is so fucking ridiculous that I can't believe this got greenlit. Like no one like there's one scene at AvengerCon where there's a giant head rolling around and the girl gets hit with the hammer, and I'm like, dude, this fucking shit is retarded. Like, why are they cheering?
Yeah.
That head had so much momentum.
Yeah, it's just goddamn dumb. And I was laughing because of how stupid that was. But I did have a genuine laugh when they like jumped on the bus and high-fived. Like, I thought that was actually kind of funny. But overall, it was just really boring. Like, I don't care about, boring and sad. Yeah, like sometimes family stuff hits me weird. And so when she made her dad cry, I was like, God, bitch. But
gotcha.
Yeah, like I just didn't care for this. Like there was like nothing here for me.
All right.
Yeah. See, that making her dad cry is one of those moments that easily goes into that, man, this character is a bitch. Why do I care about her? But I mean, the look in her face, like she instantly regretted it. Right. And it made me feel like, that was just a slip up. Like we've all done that. Well, those of us with fathers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I made my dad cry. It was the day I was born.
Mo, what did you think of Miss Marvel?
It was okay. It's definitely a demographic-y type show. It's geared towards a specific audience, and I don't think it's like, like a female thing. It's more of a younger crowd, and they capture that. They do, like I said, a good job of expressing the angsty teen, but the angst isn't from like general growing pains. It's a little more specific, but still generalized enough where you can kind of identify with it a little bit, But what I hated was the Avengers Con, like all the.
What you hate about Avengers Con?
It was the fan servicey stuff there, is stuff that we've seen in the movies, not stuff that the people saw as while they're being saved by these motherfuckers, you know? So it's like selling the shirt that says I can do this all day. Like nobody knows that he said that.
Scott Lang said it on his podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I can
which
do
I
this
thought
all
was made
day?
it a.
How did he know? They never showed him hearing that.
Magic.
I mean, no, I'm not saying it's magic. It's like,
I mean, there's stuff that happens in space that they reference, and it's like only fans of the movies know that, you know?
No, but it's one of those things where it's like Avengers are regular people. They tell stories.
But the thing is, it doesn't work that way. There's famous people that tell stories, and it's like it's still just rumor. It's like wiki shit. It's not stuff you put on T-shirts, you know. Like it'd be more like the Steve Rogers saying "I can do this all day" is more like the legend of Steve Rogers, except that it actually happened. There was nobody there to see it.
I'm not saying
if you did it all the time, like Falcon or somebody that they interview would say, "Oh yeah, he said
Falcon wasn't there when he said it."
He could have said it other times. He
said it multiple times.
He said it twice.
He said it so much that he got tired when his other self said it.
He said it twice.
Twice is definitely counts as multiple.
The first time, Larry, was when he was a kid getting beat up by the bullies. He's nobody. There's no reason for people to know he said it. The second time, Larry, was when he was fighting Iron Man on a classified mission that nobody knows about. So there's no reason why they should be shirts that say I can do this all day.
Bucky was there the first time.
Yeah, Bucky was there both times.
The criminal that nobody could come near, like because he's a fugitive for half the time he existed.
He was Falcon.
By the time you get to this, and this fool has a podcast, who the dude was a criminal that has the podcast.
Look, Bucky.
Why can't he talk to Bucky on the show?
Again, unless they show me the show where they said that, it doesn't make sense. It's just too much fan servicey stuff. They try to give you the how we feel about these movies, but instead of trying to make a world building of how these people feel about these heroes, they just put what we feel on to what they feel, and
you don't feel like people in the universe of the MCU think Captain America's ass looks good in those pants.
That's definitely a Scott Lang. He said that.
I can give you that because he was there, and if he has the podcast, that's one thing. The other movie shit that moments in movies that not even other Avengers saw. Sometimes it's not definitely not shouldn't be on shirts in that convention. It's a little too meta without it really making sense. You know, I know that for me, I was like I remember watching other stuff when you watch what was it? I think No Way Home talks about some stuff, and it's like, how do people know this? There's things that seems like it's general knowledge, but when you see the Scott Lang podcast, that explains to me, at least for me, that's an explanation on how they know. Was trapped in a microverse for half of the shit that's on these T-shirts. He didn't see it.
Mo, what part of he has a podcast where he talks to superheroes don't you understand?
The part that they don't give me the chapters where they said these things that they're printed on.
Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It's not like they literally are giving you an explanation. It's not like they told it to us.
Yeah, it's not an explanation. It's something. Oh, okay, maybe we can work. We could do all sorts of shit. It's a Deus Ex Machina, and everybody.
It's not like Oz, for instance. Both I and Oz independently looked at that joint and had the same thought.
But there's things that nobody saw. I didn't make a list.
What I'm saying is,
I had the one, and that's my example, and that's it. You can say whatever you want. I mean, say it anyway. We got.
No, I just say you cannot like that explanation, but you can't be like, "Oh, that couldn't have happened." There's no way that Scott Lang would have an interview with Bucky Barnes on a podcast. That's crazy. It's like that happens in real life.
Again, Bucky wasn't there when he said, "I can do this all day."
Yeah, he was. He's the one.
He was there, literally.
A classified mission that you don't talk about. Like he wouldn't say that on a podcast.
You have to talk about the whole mission. You could just talk about him saying it.
Wait, no, not even the mission. When he was still Skinny Steve,
he wasn't there either.
Yes, he was. He's the one that rescued him.
All right. Yeah. Oh boy.
Look, don't be mad because he was actually there both times that you listed it. He's literally there both times. But it's okay.
They still don't say about Adventures Con is that of all the conventions I've ever been to, they never looked like that much fun. Like that looked like a party.
Like a convention. That's like a fair.
That was a freaking party, man. Her mom was right. That was a nerd party.
Look, and that I will agree. Like it looked different than how conventions look.
That
and
looked like
it does
a convention after party to me.
It looked like a party / fair, and I was like, that seems fun. Like I would like to go to that. Which, you know, there's a rumor that that's about to happen too, right?
I didn't realize it was that close to Brooklyn or wherever they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought Camp Lehigh was somewhere in the Midwest.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, look, they're in,
and we're back in time for fucking bedtime.
Right. So okay, but I will agree that what Jay said makes a lot of sense to me because I had the same thought too, where it was like, this whole thing happening with this head and this hammer, I'm like, why is like some people are running for their lives, and then the people like 2 steps from them are clapping and cheering, and it's just like,
and then one of the dudes clapping and cheering isn't even like he's not even a good actor about it.
Well, he thought they were about to see a kid die. So some people.
I don't know.
This was just the bad. Like they shot that on a day when the head wasn't rolling. He didn't know what he was clapping at, and he didn't have imagination.
It's wild because it's kind of like, so, like, are some people feeling like this is part of the show, or like I just don't understand like how, like the light show aspect of it I get, but once the head starts rolling and smashing through booths and stuff, it's kind of like, oh, things have gone wrong, right?
What was that head made out of too? I think just rolled through. It was like solid steel.
It's crazy, and you know, and I won't lie to you. Like, there's a part of me these days that, like, because of how the way the world works now, like real life, like the reactions you would think people would have about things seldom, at least for me, seem like they match up with like, or not maybe some people, but like you always get like random people that react in a way where you're like, man, that's like actually the complete opposite of what I would have predicted people would have thought about a situation like this. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, well, no one would do that. But at the same time, I'm just like, look, I feel like it would have been different if it was people on the other side of the room. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it was literally like, okay, these people are like ducking out the way. And then the people that don't have to move are like, yeah. And then the chick gets hit with the hammer and people are like, oh. And I'm like, dude, like, that doesn't look dangerous to you? Like, that looks dangerous to me. I'm like, dude, she got hit with that hammer full on, and I'm just like, oh, she's dead. She's dead. But it turned out she was alive.
And they said her costume wasn't even accurate. And that's a lie.
Well, it's not accurate for the MCU.
Yeah, because she wasn't wearing pants.
Yeah, but it is a comic accurate costume. Which is like, oh. Right. Or a comic accurate Miss Marvel costume. I guess maybe that's the right way to say it, right? Because Captain Marvel doesn't dress like that. But that was what her parents were afraid Kamala was going to dress like.
So I expected a Disney teenage show with. I expected it to be like America Chavez was in Multiverse of Madness, and instead I got something better. So I'm happy with it.
Okay. Okay. Mo, you didn't really touch on the power aspect of things. How did you feel about it?
I didn't like it. I mean, they try to do the nega band, and
That's right. There is only
yeah, so it's not, so it's just basically. Look, I'm not a fan of that character. I didn't read any of her comics at all, and
You're not a fan of Miss Marvel.
I've never read any of her comics at all. So I don't care how they change it. It's more about how good the show is. And the power didn't look good. Like, even if you're doing these light constructs, it's still a little weird and wonky the way they did it. But it's fine. It still looks better than the She-Hulk effect. So that's fine. They did try to do the stretchy thing with the construct.
Yeah.
That could have just not been colored that way, and it would have looked like the comic. Yeah. The only time I gave a crap about Miss Marvel was in the game, the crappy game.
In Avengers?
Yeah. Where you got to control her and play as her. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. These stretchy powers, like doing a third-person shooter control schematic with her stretchy powers was kind of interesting. And that's when I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And I like, the characterization they did for her at the beginning tutorial thing was kind of cool. So that was fine. I'm like, oh, if I see a show with her, I think it'd be cool. But I definitely did like her power stuff. I need an explanation, but I don't want to watch any more of these episodes necessarily.
I was like, I need you to tell me why this is happening, but you're gonna have to tell me offline because I'm not gonna watch anymore. Send me a text.
It's interesting, it's good, it's well made, but it's not something I want to spend 5-6 hours watching. Like I got a lot of other shit to do. It's not as compelling.
I hear you.
They tie it into the Captain
stuff
Marvel.
That appeals to you more,
right? And it's a Captain Marvel. They did the Captain Marvel movie, which I didn't like. They do this, which I kind of enjoy, but it's like whatever. And it's gonna go into the sequel of Captain Marvel of the movie I didn't like. So it's like I'm not in a hurry to watch that, so I don't need to see how this connects like that. I know enough about this character to just like. Let me know when she gets in the Avengers. Yeah,
but the Captain Marvel 2 will have 60% less Captain Marvel.
It doesn't matter. Like, it's not like I like Captain Marvel. I like Carol Danvers. So they're doing it wrong. You've been doing it wrong. So it's like that's not for me either because you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
Jay, how'd you feel about the power switch?
I don't really like it.
Okay.
Like it's different, and I don't know that it was necessary. Like, I get that Terrigen Mist doesn't exist yet in the MCU.
I mean,
but they could have did something.
It kind of does. If humans
it does.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they didn't just use the Terrigen Mist.
Nobody sees why they didn't just do that.
And the people that love this show they don't even know that's the thing.
I feel like, I mean, we all understand why they didn't do the Terrigen Mist.
I don't.
Right? I mean, like,
I don't.
You all felt like introducing Inhumans in this show, or reintroducing Inhumans into this show, makes sense.
I can understand why you
for Disney.
They had the comic. It goes over the city, right?
Yeah.
I can understand why you wouldn't do that, but somehow maybe look, she's got this magic band. Why not just have this crystal that happens to break and she gets hit with the mist,
or a vial of Terrigen Mist?
Look, somebody smuggling it in the oxygen tank, and the oxygen tank breaks.
Listen, I'm just sitting here saying, I promise you, if any of these ideas you all just said was what was the origin for Miss Marvel, y'all would all be like, "This is ridiculous." Y'all would tear that show apart for that part. Like,
I would just
I know
say
you
it's
feel
not
this
for
way
me.
now because you're like, we don't want to change, and I find that admirable. I'm not saying that I
just
agree
like-
with you.
I just
I'm just
like
saying these
Terrence
ideas
Miller.
aren't good ideas.
And they brought Black Bolt. We got a good Black Bolt. That's already it's like you can literally just bring in the same shitty Inhumans, not recast nobody, and just move good from here forward with the Terrigen Mist, because you already have a good,
We should do.
If it's good enough for Ninja Turtles, it's good enough for Miss Marvel.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say we should, totally do like a Daredevil origin.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, like
that's-
like a Ninja Turtle origin.
Yeah.
for
No, but
Miss
Daredevil,
Marvel.
like the truck, the truck,
Daredevil
somebody
did it
tries to
too.
steal the truck. They try to steal the truck, and one of the tanks falls, and it hits her, and she breathes it all in because
I wouldn't even care if, like, part of me wouldn't have even cared if they just made her a mutant. Like, I don't know if Disney owns that word yet, but she just discovers she can stretch.
Right. As
one
people.
day, like, yeah, like
They did it with Turning Red.
Look, right now we hate both the origin and the power. If they did it the way we're saying to do it, we might still dislike the origin, but the power would be there.
Dude, right, and think about that too, because Lord knows if the first mutant
movie, right?
Again, like you say that right now, Jay, but if the first mutant in the MCU was Kamala Khan, you'd be pissed.
Well, it was Professor
I know that,
X, but
no, well, there is no Professor X technically in the. Well, okay, I'll give you that. You'd be like, okay, Professor X is the first one, and then Kamala Khan's the second one. She's basically their Wolverine now.
That's about right.
If Kamala Khan was the first mutant in the MCU, I think I would
But
be
it's
okay
not.
with that.
The first mutant in the MCU is Mikhail.
I don't know who that is.
It's Ursa Major. He was in Black Widow.
Oh no, that guy got his powers because he got bit by a radioactive bear. I thought you knew.
No, that's not it.
No, that's what happens. That's canon.
He's a hairy gay guy.
Like, there'd be wrestling bears out there. This one was Chernobyl bear, and it just bit him, and he's like, "Son of a bitch," and that's where he came from. Let me take a swig. No, but anyway,
I don't have time for your bullshit, Larry. I have to go to work. We can't be bullshit.
That's true. I'm out.
So, are you really out right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, listen. Bullshitting about this radioactive bear. Now he's got to leave.
I apologize.
Well, I believe the turtle talk took up the most time. For a game that's not going to come out next week. It's going to come out in like 2 months.
Oh,
and I'm a credible source.
Ye of little faith.
I mean, it says summer. Like spring doesn't even end till July.
Summer's in like a week from now.
3 weeks or 2.
No, the 18th. Next week. It's the 10th already.
21st, right?
No, the 18th. We're June 10th. That's 8 days from now. It's next week.
We're June 8th.
No, we're in June 10th.
It's June 10th.
Well, I'm in June 10th.
Listen, Oz, before you go, why don't you rate
strain?
Happy birthday.
Why don't you rate Miss Marvel for us?
Go with 4.5. Stretchy fingers.
4.5?
Yeah. I can't give it 5. There's if I can nitpick it, I can't give it 5.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm just saying. Like, I'm surprised it's so high. I'm not saying that you need to give it more. I'm not saying you disliked it terribly, but it didn't sound like you liked it so much that you give it 4.5. So I'm like, oh, I'm surprised. I'm like, oh,
if I liked it enough to not complain about it, it's good.
Okay. Well, there you go.
It's just because he has to go.
What, are the people at work listening? Like, oh, you better give Miss Marvel high marks. I was working with Miss Marvel stands. I got it. Oz, dude, always awesome having you here, man.
Peace.
Later.
Hold on. 'Cause 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 'cause
I was like, let me get my outro together. Listen, so folks, like, what did you all feel like? One of the things that I personally liked about the show was the I felt like it did some really creative things in regards to like the the visual presentation.
Yeah.
And I thought that
it was derivative. Like
derivative of what, Che?
Spider-Man. Like both
Spider-Man what?
The fucking
Homecoming, no? Did that?
No. Long Way
Into
Home
the Spider-Verse?
And Into the Spider-Verse.
Wait, what was the other one?
The No Way Home? Actually, all the Spider-Men do that in the whatchamacallits, but they did it most prominently in No Way Home.
When did they do it in No Way Home?
At the end.
In the credits?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing, right?
Of Scott Pilgrim.
No, I mean, I definitely feel like it's inspired by Scott Pilgrim. I agree with you with that, but Scott Pilgrim was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
More than that.
Okay, so it's not like it's like, it's not derivative at that point. It's inspired, but not like that was a long time ago. If nobody's done it since then but
Nah, but people have done it since then. There's like a whatchamacallit movie that did it. I guess Jay didn't enjoy it, so he says it's derivative. I can see how it can be derivative, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. And even like how they did it, like when he was gonna get hit by the taxi, like like he just stopped to check, and then the taxi just kept going, and then they reveal why he stopped, like that.
Yeah.
And then the little neon sign and change.
Yeah.
And part of it is to express her imagination,
right?
Which I thought was, I don't know if they did that in the comics, like how she's a fan, but she does this creative stuff with her. How much of a fan she is, but the way they did it here, like even a little stop motion video thing she was doing, I really liked. And and then how she's describing things with the on the little notebook, her plan, like I thought it was creative, and if it was derivative, it still worked. It was still done well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like like in the comic, she does doodle a lot. And I mean, obviously, we're in the comic. We're talking about, art, right? So, and so it's like in the comic, there are doodles of her, like or that she does of heroes and things like that, and that is the inspiration I'm sure that they took in regards to trying to bring that into the show to a degree. And in some aspects, it is her doing doodles and whatnot. But even like the thing.
Like one of her most classic covers is her doodling while like catching a bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely. But in this, they like take it up a different notch, primarily because of course you're talking about a different medium. But like even the opening where it's like combining her ability to doodle with like the whole YouTube video kind of thing, like as the opening, I was like, that's pretty amazing.
I really like that.
Yeah, and then how they continue that throughout the episode when it goes into like the when they're discussing the different the planning with the chalkboard and all that kind of stuff. Even when they're talking about her costume and they're talking about variants on the Miss Marvel costume, and it has like a kind of it takes the graffiti art, and the graffiti art turns into like different aspects where they're like, oh, what about like a Panther Captain Marvel or a Doctor Strange Captain Marvel, and like I'm like that's all pretty interesting and cool stuff. So yeah, yeah. So it's like it like I thought that was interesting, and then like what they did with the text and how they incorporate that into the environment. I'm like, it really worked for me in that sense, and I thought it was creative. I don't know, like it might be derivative. But I don't feel like there are a lot of shows that do that. So, yeah, but I know I personally enjoyed it. I was interested in your all opinions, and it seems to me like, Mo, you kind of appreciated it.
Yeah.
Jay, you might not appreciate it as much, but seems like it's more about like, just your overall enjoyment of the show as opposed to like, like in a better show for you, you would have liked it more.
Probably.
Yeah. How'd you all feel about her friend and his characterization, and just like, did y'all like that character?
Is he in the comics?
Look, that should not affect whether you like him or not, Mo. You don't read those comics, so.
Well, no, because his characterization here was kind of good. Like, I like the idea of a platonic friend,
right?
And it kind of took a weird turn in the scene where it's not that, and it's a little. I mean, that to me is derivative, like having them not be platonic friends. Like I loved in Shang-Chi where they're just he's got it's like a sidekick, but but she's they're friends, they're just good friends and they're platonic. Like I like that in Shang-Chi, and it seems like that's something you don't see a lot of, and it would be here that would work as well, especially because there is the some of the religious aspect of it of the show, of the character. Like they made it, they went out of their way to show that she's from a specific religious background. So adding this and the interracial thing, it's almost in a sense like if you want to show that there could be a Muslim American hero, but then throw something like that in there where he's from a different background, and the family's not going to like it, and if they do like it, it's not going to be realistic. So then to me it's just shitting on what those values are. Like we're trying to celebrate different values here.
Now when you say it's not going to be realistic, what do you mean?
Like they're going to hate him, and then but I don't see this family hating him for wanting to be with their daughter. You know what I mean? The way they showed this, like they should have already been wary of him from the beginning, and if they just accept him, then that's not entirely realistic either. So it's to me it's just kind of you're trying to show a subculture within the American culture, part of the melting pot we are, and you just take the easy way out for these things that could add a little grit to this story. So that's where I felt weird about him potentially not being a platonic friend.
I hear you, and I get where you're coming from based on television, because they're tropes for that kind of stuff. I will say that he is in the comic.
Okay.
The relationship is complicated in the comic book.
Okay.
And so I say that
like
in the sense that like
culture and religion stuff too, or just she doesn't know she likes them. Oh, okay.
All that. Like it's a very layered kind of story in regards to their relationship. Like it feels very like true to life in the sense that like they definitely do a thing where it's like, okay, like they're friends and they value their friendship, and so they both in a way try to like kind of ignore the idea that they may have any kind of romantic kind of thing going on between them, because they're like, we're best friends,
right?
And they don't want to sacrifice that in any way, shape, or form,
right?
And
like, you sacrifice the integrity of your French fries by adding chili and cheese to it.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you! But anyway, the fact is,
you add sex to your friendship. You're like, wow.
but when they do at a certain point end up admitting they have feelings for each other, the idea that hey, I'm from this background and my people are expecting this and that and over the other comes into play.
Yeah.
And so so it feels very like it's very you know, like it is very true to life in some senses. So, but at the same time, but he is like the role he plays is basically what we've seen so far in episode 1, in the sense that he's the person, or the only person that knows she has powers.
Okay.
And so, you know, and he's her best friend. So, yeah. So, you know, yeah.
Jay, you hate him, right? Like, is that
not hate, but I definitely don't like him. I actually kind of thought it was a little weird that he didn't care more about his gloves that got left in the bathroom.
Yeah, I did feel that too. I felt that too.
What?
Yeah.
It's his friend.
Yeah, he worked really hard on those gloves.
Yeah,
like,
and there was a crowning, and they weren't that great because he could still see the LEDs. Like,
man,
but that's beside the point. Like, he's a kid. He's a dumb kid.
I'm just saying, like, think about it from the perspective of us. If I was going to go on stage to go do something that I was like, you knew was important to me, like this was like a super big deal, and something you made for me to be a part of that was something that I left somewhere, which sounds very much in line with myself, unfortunately.
That's everything I do for you.
That 100% could have been something that I would have done, like not intentionally, just like Kamala. You know what I'm saying? But I could see it and be like, damn, I left it. You wouldn't be like, oh, okay, well, go get him, and if you make it, you make it. You don't, you don't. Like, neither one of you would do that to me. Yeah. Look at Jay. Jay wants to disagree, but he knows he can't.
It's not that I want to disagree. It's just I will still talk to you. Like,
think of all the times that when you were looking for your camcorder and he lost it.
Yeah, that
yeah. Or when he the porn laptop, when he had he had it for you the whole time for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
That's there.
Yeah, man. and don't get me wrong,
but
he's a good friend.
On the bathroom floor. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. And here's the thing, like what I loved about that particular moment was it felt very real, because again, like I said, I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm that friend sometimes, and I like what she said is exactly what I would have said, which is, dude, let me just go run back and go get him real quick. I'm gonna do that right now. And how he stopped her and was like, no, like, you go and do your thing. And even if he was like, I'll go run and see, like, that's the thing. Like, I could totally see, like, one of you be like, I'm going to go run and go get it. And if I can bring it back to you before you have to do your thing, then great. But if not, then, you know, you're in the middle of your thing. You know what I mean? It's
that's
like,
what he should have did.
Hey, but he didn't not do it. He just told her to go on stage. They didn't just, like, he didn't.
I mean,
like,
now that I think about it, that would have been hard for him to get into the women's room.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, it would have been really tough. But who knows? He's like, I worked hard on him. He might have done it.
Yeah. All you have to do is run in and run out. Like, he knows what he's looking for. So he has his eyes down.
It's during the costume contest where he's like, dude, most people are going to be out the bathroom. They're going to be watching this. Yeah. So he might be like, let me just duck in there real quick. But he's not going to tell her that. Like, you know. Because then she might be like, no, you can't go in there. It's going to be crazy, you know. Like, you know, but look, and understand, like, I feel like, again, too, we're talking about, like, a young white guy. Like, you know, he might feel like he could go into the woman's bathroom and make it out okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going into the woman's bathroom because,
like, as a woman, and they'll let him in.
So I'm just saying, it's like he probably just told her, like, no, you go. And for all we knew, that's what he did, was go into the women's bathroom. But then she started doing, like, light show stuff. And he was like, wait, what's that? You know, he was like, oh, you know. Let's look. I know we got to move on soon. But one last thing I want to talk about. And if you guys have something else you want to talk about, we can let me know. What are your thoughts, or what thoughts did you get in regards to this bangle that is basically giving her powers. Like, Mo, I know you hate it, but what do you think about it, and what its deal is?
I don't necessarily hate it. It's not something I've ever seen in the comics. So it gives me the.
But you don't read the comics.
Right. But does she have the bangles in the comics, or a bangle in the comics?
She has a bangle, but not a bangle like that. No.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like if anything, if it was two of them, it's like, oh, it's the Negabands, like the original. Like if her powers are derived from Captain Marvel and that the Power Stone, then or Kree shit, then it's like, okay, it's the Negabands. Like, okay, I'm good. But I'm like, they had 2 Rick Jones in this fucking MCU. None of those had the Negabands, but we're not going to talk about that.
They had 2 Rick Jones in the MCU?
Yeah, they had a Rick Jones in, no, you know what, maybe, no, they had Amadeus Cho they had in Incredible Hulk, and then they had Rick Jones in Hulk, the Ang Lee Hulk, which is still canon.
Got it.
So
yeah, absolute. How about oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Mo?
So yeah, the last thing is, like, I don't know anything about it. They're essentially just creating it for TV, and they got, the dudes that write and direct the show or this episode, they barely speak any English, so I'm sure there's probably going to be a good little origin.
What makes you feel that?
They're like, I saw an interview with them. They're like Arab dudes.
They don't speak English?
I said they barely speak English. They speak English. They just don't. They're not, when you're doing a press interview with the directors, you expect the director to be able to communicate with you 100%. Now, I'm not saying they need an interpreter, but they're about a 96%, 94%. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It sounds like they speak English pretty well to me.
Did you see them speak?
I have.
Yeah, they had a thick accent. They communicated it eloquently, but they had a thick accent. So
what's the accent have to do with?
They're in touch with their culture, so they'll probably put an origin for this bangle that is in line with some kind of Arab, Middle Eastern mythology, maybe some Zoroastrianism or something, And I'm in. Like, I like that stuff. I don't know what this bangle is what I'm saying, and they look like they're qualified. From watching them speak, they're qualified to tell me.
Okay, all right. Jay, what'd you think of this bangle?
I think that someone could take it from her.
Jay's like, security on that bangle seems really low. He's like, the latch faulty.
I mean, we've just seen this. Yeah. We've seen this so many times where she's in a fight with the bad guy, and the bad guy gets the power object, and then they get all sad and depressed, and come back at the end of the third act to win and get their shit back. It's like, I don't want to go through that shit, and I definitely don't want to go through the episode where she gives it to her friend so he can feel what it's like, and like. Just all these terrible tropes that come from enchanted objects that I don't feel like dealing with.
Okay. So you're not a big fan of it based on the potential havoc it could wreak in future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and hey, I can see that where you're like, I'm not mad at the idea of not having faith in the fact that people won't lean on tropes that have happened in the past. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I know Oz had touched on the idea that the mom recognized it.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Like, it definitely felt like she recognized it. And in line with some of the stuff that she was talking in regards to her family and their past or whatever, it almost made it seem as though, like, maybe her mom, like Kamala's grandmother, and her mother's mom may have used it in the past, and she was aware of that.
Yeah,
and that's another trope.
Yeah,
she notices her daughter has it, takes it, and then when the city's run, she gives it back. Like, oh,
I'd rather
God,
have
I
her
don't wanna
watch
deal with
that.
this shit.
I rather watch that story rather.
You rather watch the story of her grandma being a
Yeah.
superhero?
Because if you think about it, it's in like the
her grandma, or is it her aunt? I don't remember.
Her grandma.
Maybe it's her aunt. Oh,
It's
okay.
her grandma. But I'd rather see her do it because when you talk about, that area with Sharia law and the Ayatollahs and shit like that in the 80s, 70s, the oil crisis, shit like that seems like a more interesting story for me to watch a hero with that power in that area, in that geopolitical climate.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I hear you say that, and I'm not saying it doesn't sound interesting. I'm just saying that if Marvel was making that, I don't know if you would be like, oh, this feels like the Miss Marvel story I was looking for.
I mean, they would look. Technically, it's not Ms. Marvel. The only thing that makes her Ms. Marvel is the fact that she's a fan, and I guess that's the comic too. But it's like, they don't need to call it Ms. Marvel and give me that story. Just give me that story, period. Like I would
completely
see that.
Disconnected from
even if it wasn't Marvel, like if it was like that story, like that is something I would like. I would like to watch.
Okay, okay, that's fair.
I mean, I saw a movie called The Barber about a guy that wants to be a surgeon in the Dark Ages in Iran. Yeah, and it's like it's just that the politics of that time and how everything went was interesting to me. And it's similar to this because they wouldn't let him cut people and they wouldn't let him into the school because the only medicine you were learning was in the Middle East, and he had to circumcise himself. That was his first surgery to be able to be let in because at that time the Muslims and the Jews were together in on the medicine. They can go to the same schools together. There wasn't a rift like that, and then you see that rift happen through the Ayatollah system and all that shit. And that shit's interesting. The golden age of Islam is something that's interesting to me.
So, are you all ready to rate this show, or do you all have something else you want to say about it real quick?
No, man, that's it. I'll take that as a yes. 3 out of 5.
So it looks like Christians don't like Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Christians hate everything.
Wait, I'm a Christian.
Yeah,
I don't.
Being a bad Christian, like you drink, you have premarital, like you're living in sin. Like technically you're going to hell. Like there's no reason why you call yourself a Christian.
What Christian do you know that's not living in sin?
But look, the ones that are married.
Meh, I disagree.
Look,
we're all sinners.
Larry, you're lucky you're my friend because in hell you have executive position. Like you're going there as a supervisor, not as somebody getting punishment. But yeah, no, Christians hate everything. Like they hate.
Now, what makes you say that, Jay?
So there's a story. We got this covered. And I guess there's a Facebook group called Christians Against Miss Marvel.
I think we got this covered. Made that group,
right? Exactly. Like, look, we got this covered, man. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't ever tell stories that actually happen, but they tell almost as many stories that don't actually happen.
Like we invented, we got this covered when we used to say Joe was cast as as one of the Green Lanterns back in 2013.
Right. We did this whole comic book news thing the completely wrong way. We should have just been. We got this covered. We could have. We were making them stories long before they were. Right. We just didn't think that people wanted to hear them. We were like, oh, damn, we messed that up. Yeah, but okay, but no, I'm sure. And don't get me wrong. I'm 100% certain there are Christian people out there that are just like there. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's like, talking about this show like, oh, how woke it is because everything has to be about this Muslim family, and it's like,
Right.
I mean, they're Pakistani. Like, what's wrong with a Pakistani family?
Yeah.
And someone in a Pakistani family getting superpowers. Like, it's a story just like any other family getting superpowers, you know, but some people don't see it that way. So, you know.
Once we got this coming,
they think the group thinks that Carol Danvers should be the face of the show, not Kamala Khan.
Of Miss Marvel?
Yeah.
But Carol Danvers has her own movie.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, listen. I feel like, look,
that's also the same group that said they didn't like that she didn't smile.
I'm out here like I very well might be still like, you know, giving people way too much credit, but I believe We Got This Covered has to be making that up. Where people are like, you know, I don't understand why Carol Danvers.
Nobody liked that movie like that. Nobody liked that movie like that.
I don't believe that. Like they're
you
fans of Captain Marvel.
I haven't met any.
Dude,
come on, man. That's not true.
I've saw
it made like $1 billion.
It didn't make $1 billion.
Didn't it?
I don't think so. Maybe 700 million. But
Joe, look it up real quick. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't Black Panther. It wasn't Avengers, but I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure if it didn't make $1 billion, it made really close.
Look, it could have made a ton of money, but the actual reception and like people's opinions, like I've talked to a lot of people about that movie. A lot of them haven't seen it. A lot of them don't care about seeing it, and the people that saw it didn't like it.
So you don't feel like people
1.128 billion.
There you go.
As of when?
Why does that matter?
No, because I mean, look, like it's been out 4 years? It took 4 years to make 1.2 billion.
I'm saying you say that like most movies after 4 years make $1 billion. They don't.
No, but you know, Marvel movies make it in the weekend.
No, they don't. And the Wasp.
They don't.
Which is at 622 million.
Yeah. Again, that's another
which
movie.
is about twice as good as Shazam.
Yeah.
At 366.
I mean, look, it's not.
Why would you bring up Shazam? No one asked you for that, Jay. That's not cool. Look, I'm taking Oz's position. Who was talking about Shazam?
Everybody that saw Captain Marvel didn't like it. That's everybody that I talked to. So do with that what you will.
Okay. I don't know, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hear you. Like, there was a segment of people that weren't fans of it, but what I will say is,
people that are fans of it.
I mean, I know people that liked the movie. Like,
no, fans.
You know,
like that's their segment of the MCU. That's what they like. They can't wait to see the next one. Like,
I will say that yes. I do think that I do know some people that are in that camp.
Do you think there are people in that camp, or you know people that are in
No. I know that there are people that are in that camp. However, you know, I mean,
out of all the people you know, or how many?
No, it's definitely not the majority of the MCU people I know. I'll give you that, but at the same time, that's not saying much,
hey, look,
right?
it's more than I know. So,
well, I mean, but I guess I'm looking at it like this. In the sense that, in the same way, like there are people that are big fans that I know of Black Panther.
Right.
They're not the same segment of people that are like as big of the fans of the people that are like the Endgame people.
Right. Yeah. It's it's like comics. Like you like the team, or you know, and you like.
That's all I'm saying, though, right? It's like
I don't come across a lot of Captain Marvel fans, even though they like what she did in Endgame or whatever, you know? Like they're Endgame fans. Yeah.
Right. And that's the whole point I'm making is the sense that, you know, like you don't want to delegitimize the people that are the fans just because they're not
legitimize them. I just don't know who they are.
Well, and that's the point I'm making is you don't want to delegitimize them because they're not the mainstream. It's like you come across a lot more mainstream people than maybe I do. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like I get it. You know, it's like most people.
I come in contact with a variety of people that you don't.
Yeah, but how many of them are, for instance, like a lot of women are Captain Marvel fans? How many female comic book fans are you talking to?
There's few. There's not too many.
That's the point I'm making. Like if you're not talking to women about comics, then like women make up half the population.
Okay, I mean I'll give you
so.
But
so if you're not talking about to women about comics, then you're gonna get a lot less Captain Marvel fans.
No, I have women in my family that like comics.
Yeah, but your family is like women in your family are like 8 or like 16 people. That's not a lot of people.
No, but that's what I'm saying. At least there should be one, right?
I don't know. Like 1 out of 16.
1 out of 16 should be a fan of Captain Marvel, right?
Not necessarily. Like it depends on what your family's like.
No, if it's half the
we should actually move on.
If it's half, all I'm saying is if it's half the population, one of them should be in my family.
It depends. That's the whole point. Where I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like, you know, we just let it be what it is. You know, it's like so. Yeah. Broaden the spectrum.
No, don't use that word. That's the terrible word to use towards women, Larry.
It's like broaden. No. All right, Jay, what would you rate Miss Marvel episode 1?
I'd give it a 1.
A 1?
Dude, there's nothing there for me except like 2 laughs.
If it was animated and Japanese, he'd love every second of it.
Listen, if it was Japanese and animated, I think Jay would have a different perspective on the whole thing. I agree with you on that. It would have at least gotten a 3.
Right. Other things he thought were derivatives are the things that in manga are like click size.
Right.
Right. Like, he's like, oh yeah,
it's too funny.
Yeah.
He's like, I love Bruno. He's like, I'm Bruno.
Yeah.
Mosman, what would you rate Miss Marvel?
I would give it a 4. It was a well put together show. It was fun, even though it's not for me. It's still good.
Man,
and
you and Oz, man, y'all are surprising me.
Like, it's not a bad show by any means. And even like you know, the way that you know people deal with diversity and things like that, like this felt natural. It's not like crowbarring anything in, and that's you're giving me a story of like it's almost a perspective of what you see. Like that family could easily be my neighbors. And any community I've ever and the way they interact with each other, the way they interact with the world around them, like their conversation of their you know their little stores. Getting with halal, and then halal guys. I love halal guys. It's delicious. So I'm like, man, I want some. I haven't had halal guys in about 60 years. You know? But you know, it's just one of those things. Like it just felt real natural, and you know, coming from a immigrant family myself, it's like this is the conversations and the issues that family has. Even though they're a different religion, different background, different ethnicity, it's the same conversations my family has had, and it felt natural, you know. So that alone, like anybody in America that's not my America. It's like, man, you're lucky that you live in such a secure place, hermetically sealed from the rest of the fucking nation. Because it felt like every neighborhood to me that I've ever lived in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I will say that.
Fuck this.
I will say that, you know, I just piggybacking off what you just said, I agree 100%. And the idea that, you know, it's like one of these things where people are like, you know, what's up with all this representation? Why do you need it? And I feel like this is a perfect picture, like a picture perfect example. And the show is doing basically the same thing the comic book did, in the sense that it gives you a window into the life of a group of people that you may not necessarily have that kind of interaction with, that just happens to be in a superhero story. And that was like that was part of the beauty of Miss Marvel as a comic when it came out. And it feels like the show is definitely working in that same spirit. And that's awesome to me. I'm enjoying it. And I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 as well. Because, I mean, realistically, the biggest gripe for me is the whole powers thing. And it's not even to say that, by no means am I
trying diversity. Like, if they represented the comic powers, like they work hard to represent the diversity and the culture, it'd be a win. It'd be a 5-star, 6-star show.
No, absolutely. Like, there's nothing about it, or at least nothing that I saw that made me feel like, okay, it makes perfect sense that they didn't use the power set from the comics versus the power set they're using in the show. Now, it's episode 1. Maybe I'll feel different by the time we get to the end, but I doubt it. Just because it's like, like we could have figured out a way to make the Inhuman origin work, in my opinion, especially in light of what we saw with the variants and Black Bolt being reintroduced and all that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, like Inhumans are there. So it's like, we could have done that probably. But hey, it's neither here nor there. The show's still good. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. So, cool. All right. Y'all ready to move on to the boys?
Yeah.
Moses, would you be so kind as to talk to us and tell the people what the boys is? And what you don't have to necessarily do a recap of all 3 episodes, but whatever you feel is relevant, that information that you want to share in regards to the conversation.
So what I can't tell you is if you're in the audience and you've never seen The Boys and you're hearing me talk about The Boys right now with no prior context, this is exactly how I went in to season 3, episode 1, because I'm behind a whole season. And
really, you didn't see episode? You didn't see season 2?
No, I didn't, and I was hesitant to watch this, but I didn't feel entirely lost here. Like they didn't do a good job of like filling me in. I can keep up with almost everything, and in this first issue. So, but in this first episode rather. But what it is, it's Vought, the company that has these corporate heroes and does all the power giving. They basically are at an impasse. They had a problem last season with a hero having Nazi ideologies and trying to create a superior race of super beings. And Homelander was supposed to be the prince of that Reich, the Fourth Reich, as they call it. And now the Homelander, the Superman of this universe, essentially is his reputation is kind of tarnished, and they're trying to do a little bit of damage control, but he's going through his own shit personally, and his like facade of being this in control is kind of breaking. And on the other side, there's the boys, what the show named after, which is a group of people that hate heroes or power beings and want to kill them. Yeah. And one of the dudes, Huey, that's our in from season 1, is now working with the the Federal Bureau of Superhero Antics or whatever. And they're basically trying to lock up all the ones, kind of like a checks and balances, like keep them honest, essentially, government agency. And he's working with them, and he's thinking he's doing the same work he was doing with the boys, but with, on more legal level, a more clean level, because he's not covered in blood and shit and guts like he has been for what I assume is the last 2 seasons. So amidst of all that, they think they found a way to take down Homelander and Billy Butcher. They're telling me if you take this, you might have a chance, but there's a way to do it, and this is the guy that they did it on first. So figure it out, and because they see that Homelander is like it's on the brink. And all this really does is really make me want to have a really good series for Irredeemable. But that's besides. Shout out to our boy Mark Waid, because Irredeemable, like the stuff that we're seeing, some of the concepts you want to see in that Snyder wants to do for the DC universe or wanted to do, and what we're seeing here in The Boys now, Ennis did his part in the comics, but this show ain't following the comics, so you can't go by that. But Mark Waid really in Irredeemable, like Mark Waid really like laid the groundwork, like that's how it should be done. And you see kind of that influence in a lot of modern and I guess now postmodern superhero shit that we're seeing. Everything from Multiverse of Madness and shit like that. Yeah.
No, I feel you. Like it's wild to see, just because it does feel like the movie space is going through that same kind of thing that the comic book space went through.
Yeah,
a while back with the deconstruction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it makes sense because
it's part of the evolution. It's just a natural,
right? And those stories are amazing stories, so it makes sense that the movie folks and the TV folks would like tap into that earlier, because those stories are already there. Like,
the
comic book space had to actually like get to that point and evolve into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
That to change the way they print and sell comics to be
right. Like it was definitely like a more like an actual evolution of and commentary on what we were doing in that space beforehand. Like the TV and the movies, it's not commentary; it's just them adapting.
Yeah.
But it's nobody's saying that they shouldn't be adapting those stories, or at least I'm not. Yeah. I'm just saying that it's not like it's a natural thing where they're like, what if it's not like like
it's not an original thought.
Right, it's not an original thought, and it's not like, for instance, like like when you talk about, like, say for instance a show like 24, and how 24 was like, okay, let's talk about what it might actually be like to be a spy, because we've had all this spy fiction up until this point. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a different thing that 24 brought to the table from a television standpoint, which was a commentary in some ways in both TV and movies,
Yeah.
It's just a grittiness that it brought, and that you can legitimately be like, oh, no, 24 decided to like give the real life aspect of things, and that's like, try to give the real life aspect, I mean, obviously it's still all fiction. But and the idea was like, okay, it's the day in the life of a spy. And it's like, it's not all glitz and glamour, it's not James Bond, goddamn. Right. So but
I like when he used a lamp. I like when Jack Bauer used a lamp cable to torture a guy.
He's so good. Damn it, Jack Bauer, man, love that guy. Anyway, but
did you like Black Jack Bauer?
Yeah, no. I was a fan of that one season. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, we're done with this. But no, I mean, in my mind, it's like I would have watched another season of that particular character's, tribulations, and people are like, well, I think we're good. Yeah, okay, I get it. They're like, but it's like it's unsurprising that when you put a black person in a similar role, people think about it in a different way. That's not surprising. It was like, it's not like he was like honestly, he was a lot more
Because he was a little more tame than Jack Bauer. Like he was
Not a little, a lot more tame.
Yeah. Like he
And,
didn't take the
and people
risk
were
like
still like, I don't know, man. This guy's out here. Like Cat's out here like he's a loose cannon. It's like he's actually not doing anything.
A little bit.
He's doing things a lot more within the realm than Jack Bauer ever did.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show. It's like, you know, when you're talking about mainstream America, you know, they're just like, I don't know. He feels like a loose cannon. This guy's out here just doing whatever he wants. And it's like, well, he's not doing whatever he wants. He's like, he's doing the job Jack Bauer did. But whatever.
It should have been on Netflix.
It wouldn't have mattered. Like, it would have got low ratings on Netflix.
But Netflix would have gave it 3 seasons and finished it like fully.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. And look, who knows? Like, friggin' Michael B. Jordan might get it with whatchamacallit, right? With what's that joint? With Rainbow Six.
He's Rainbow Six?
Oh, see? You haven't watched Without Remorse?
No.
Oh, I tried, but it was awful.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Jay.
Like it starts out really bad.
It really doesn't, Jay. Like, really?
It does.
What's so bad? Listen, we can have a whole different.
Yeah, that's a whole other show. Like,
Yeah.
We can have a different show about that.
I've been pitching a TV show for you guys, but you guys never want to do it.
What TV show?
Dude, I'm ready. Like,
a TV. No. Listen, we can do it. We can definitely do it, Moses. Look, I'm with you. I'm with you. We will make the. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Jay, The Boys. Now, did you go into this like in the same way that Moses did, where you hadn't watched season 2, or no?
Yeah, I watched season 2. Like season 2 was amazing.
Hey, don't be mad at me, Joe. I'm asking questions. I'm
not mad. Like, that's just my pent up excitement. Like,
oh, is that what your excitement looks like?
That's what Cesar Millan says about the dog that kills your chihuahua.
Oh, my bad, Jay. I apologize. Listen, I messed around and took the oppressor role for a second. I apologize. He's like, I was just excited. He's like, I don't know. You felt very aggressive.
I'm scared.
all I saw was anger and hate. He's like, no, I'm just happy. I apologize, Jay. Okay, so you watched you watched seasons 1 and 2. You went into season 3. What was your impressions of the first? Because 3 episodes launched at once on Prime for The Boys. So, what was your impression of the first 3 episodes of The Boys season 3?
I love these first 3 episodes. Like, time skip.
Yeah. What happened? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Jay. I don't know what I did. That's my bad. Say that again.
One of the things Mo didn't mention is there's a 1-year time skip between season 2 and season 3.
Well, Mo can't he doesn't know.
But they do mention it. They do. There is a moment where they mention it, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't watch it because I would have hated that there's a time skip. Except that we got the cartoon anthology, and that first episode and the second episode kind of touch on some of the elements we saw in the cartoon.
I think that's true if I'm remembering right. But it's one of the things that it's hard because the Diabolical, which is like you said, the animated anthology, like some of those are in canon with the show.
Right.
Some of them are in canon with the comic, and some of them are just
a comic, and then
and others are just their own thing.
Right. But I watched that whole season at one sitting, so I'm like, I felt like, okay, even if I had like, I hate time jumps. Like I felt that kind of filled in the gap of the time jump. You know, I had something to watch.
But let me ask you this question, Moses, and then we'll get right back to Jay. At this point, like a lot of shows are doing the time jump thing, but they do it in the amount of time that has actually elapsed between
the pandemic
season. No, not pandemic. Like literally, like it's about like season 1 or season 2 ended here.
Yeah.
And then in season 3, when you start, it's like in real time.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff happened.
Yeah.
Between while we were filming.
Yeah.
Like, are you like not a fan of the fact that they're like, well, we're kind of accounting for the time in reality that passed between?
That makes it a little easier.
Because that's what happened in The Boys. Like in The Boys, they're talking about like the amount of time that passed between season 2 and season 3.
Right. Because I mean, seeing Jensen Ackles like Twitter feed and Instagram feed, like they were working on this shit for a long time, and you know, you know, it took a long time to put together. So,
well, it took a year.
Yeah, and so I can get it. I it makes it easier to swallow for me. What I hate is when you have 3 good seasons with a good story that takes 3 seasons,
right?
And then they're like, "Oh man, we just got renewed for another 6 seasons," and then they take they do a 4-year time jump, and that's what I hate.
Yeah, and that's the whole point I'm making. Where it's like, don't get me wrong, like I don't have any issue with time jumps, but I can understand, huh? but what I can say is I can understand from the perspective of a fan like yourself, where you're like, well, in the story we were at this point, and then a year and a half later, you're like, we're jumping 5 years into the future.
Yeah.
And now, a year and a half later, it's 5 years later, and you're just like, well, why did that happen? Why did we decide to do that? Like, that's one thing. But what I'm saying is, if you're like, hey, you know, I'm trying to, like The Boys, where they're like, we took a year to make this stuff, and so our characters are, where you're coming in with the characters is 1 year after the last episode, it's like, that to me feels like, well, that's the amount of time that we didn't see.
Yeah. But give me a video game that connects everything, or give me a comic that connects everything.
I was like, and this was the issue that you had with Kamala Khan, right? You're like, look, this is like, I didn't see the Ant-Man podcast, so it didn't happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I like, you know, you saw that little poster, and it's like you assume that he talked to Bucky. We don't know that.
Wait, but how awesome would it be if Marvel, because I know Marvel has like some sort of deal with some podcast streamer, wherever they release. Huh?
Sirius.
Is that the one where they released the Wolverine stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Stitcher, but Sirius bought Stitcher. So
got it.
So now it comes out on Sirius.
Right. How awesome would it be if they did release episodes of the Ant-Man podcast where he does sit down and talk to Bucky?
I'd be rocking an America's Ass t-shirt.
Right. Like, it would be amazing if they were like, okay, no, we got the interviews right here of all the stuff that America heard, like, and not Chavez, but America in general.
Yeah.
Right? Where you're like, you can listen to it like how the people in the MCU listen to it, and so now you all know what happened. Like that would be something that would make me seriously consider, like, do I need to be subscribing to Stitcher? You know, because I would be like, damn, like that. Because it's crazy because obviously it would be something that would be like produced, but it would feel like if Scott Lang was just randomly having a conversation with Bucky Barnes, like that would be awesome. Like, I don't care. I don't want to hear not one Wolverine like long. What is it called? Wolverine Long Night? What was it called? I can't remember.
Darkest
Night. That's Wolverine.
Longest Night.
Whatever. Yeah, Longest Night. Whatever whatever the podcast was that they eventually made into the comic book that I actually read.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't want to listen to old man Star-Lord.
Right, exactly. Right. It's like, I don't want to hear that. But if you're gonna do like some old, like a podcast that's not actually AR, but that feels AR because it's like you could put yourself in the shoes of somebody in the MCU, that would make me be like, you know what? I think I need to do this. And I could hear what the people in the MCU are hearing, and now we all know, like, we're on the same page, and that would make you feel better because at least you know, like, oh well, right, exactly. But anyway, that's besides the point. The Boys, and here's the thing. So it sounds to me like you are okay with the time jump. That's like a real time jump, as opposed to like a multiple year time jump.
You know what pissed me off about the multiple year time jumps is that they did it because the technology changed. They were using burner phones before they were burners. They were all you had, and then all of a sudden you have iPhones. But the story, like, they can't write a story and incorporate this product placement, so they had to do these time jumps. So in Sons of Anarchy, the whole 3 seasons took like it took about it was like, I think the first 3 seasons of Sons of Anarchy were about maybe a month in their time, and then they went to jail and did time for about 3 years and came out with iPhones, you know. And then it's like that. Then there's all this shit they allude to that happened in prison, and and you know, after that time jump, it sucked. True Blood did it where for some reason Suki fell into the fairy realm, and she just spent 10 years there or whatever, or 5 or 3 years.
True Blood, there's a fairy realm?
She's a fairy. So her
I don't watch True Blood, so
what
I don't
happened,
even know.
like all the shit that happened in True Blood followed the books for the first 3 seasons, and that all takes place within a 3-month period. And then they you know, at the end of the 3rd season they got renewed, so they're like, oh, she's been in the fairy realm for 3 years, and then it's like 2010. So it's just this stupid cop out, like lazy shit storytelling to me. So that's why I hate it. In this case, it's less lazy. You know, it's more logistical, and it works.
Yeah. Okay, and that's fair. So let's talk about The Boys, man, because I mean,
well, you cut off
The
Jim
Boy
when he was talking about it. So
Jay, you're right. You're absolutely right, Jay. Let's go back to you, man. What were your impressions of because The Boys basically was like, we're gonna give you 3 episodes. What were your impressions of those first 3 episodes?
No, I thought they were great. Like the mystery and the pacing and Homelander going crazy, like it's all really good.
What was the mystery?
What was the mystery?
Yeah,
you know
and I might just be
No, I'm definitely using the wrong word.
No problem.
Finding out that when Huey finds out that the girl he's working with is a super.
Got you. Yeah, no, I hear you. Right.
That was amazing.
I want an LGBTQ
I agree.
turkey leg.
Wait, what?
LGBTQ turkey leg?
What's that mean?
You didn't see the woke park? Like they went to Votland and they had woke and bake, and it's like the funnel cake with rainbow frosting.
Yeah, they did have they had a bunch of sight gags at Votland. They were all pretty funny. Like I don't remember them specifically, but I had a good time looking at that.
The European guy, like they're eating a triple cheeseburger with donut buns, and they're like,
I do remember that.
And then the French guy's like, donut buns on the burger? There's no God here.
What was the LGBTQ turkey leg?
It's the big fried turkey. Like it's just the big fried turkey, but they brand it for pride. Like it's just branded. What? Like it's making fun of corporate branding of pride.
Right.
It hits close to home for me because my mom's a lesbian, so it's like.
Wait, what?
I think she's a lesbian.
He's mentioned this a bunch of times. Remember, he says she was scissor sisters with someone?
Yeah.
And that's when I found out what that meant. Because there was a band called Scissor Sisters at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? And then Mo said it about his mom, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. She loves the company of women. And who doesn't really? Like I feel more connected to my mom. We have something in common. We love pussy.
And I will say they never actually took off past their first single.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I'm pretty sure I missed all of that.
You were
And
there.
so no. I'm not saying I wasn't there. I'm saying I missed it.
What's funny is now I introduced that lady as my stepmother right off the bat. And my mom was like, "Stop saying that."
Oh my god. Wow. Okay, anyway. Okay. So Okay. Wow. Okay. So The Boys.
It feels appropriate that I would talk about my mom like that when we're talking about The Boys. Like this dude,
I was gonna say, as opposed to the girls,
and blew it up.
Right. So here's the whole thing. Like is that episode 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. So here's the thing. Like The Boys is about hyper violent superhero antics, right?
And checks and balances.
And it's insane because I feel like each season they try to like one up themselves.
Yeah.
And in season and here's the thing. I feel like from the beginning they kind of were like on that page.
Yeah.
They one up themselves again in season 2. And it was like one of those things where say again?
I wouldn't know anything about, but yeah.
Right, exactly. But in season 3, I was like, before I watched it, I'd have been like, well, there's no way. Like, they're gonna, like, I wasn't, in my mind, I don't feel like The Boys had to do more than what they had already done.
Right.
In season 2. Because season 2 was enough where it's like, if you just, like, maintain this pace, I think we're good. But I guess the producers and the writers and the creators felt different. And like, we got to figure out a way to one-up ourselves. And in season 3, I'm just like, my God, like the idea, like never at any point, if somebody would be like, well, what is the most outlandish thing you thought you would see in a superhero television show? Would I have said, well, I feel like a man is going to shrink down to the size of, like a bug and walk into the shaft of another man's penis. And they're going to show us this. Like, I would never have thought that would have been the thing that would have happened. Like if they're like, so like, I mean, here's the thing. It's not even like, if you had said to me, well, is that going to happen? I might have been like, well, it might happen, but they're not going to show it to us. Like it's going to be inferred. But it was like, no, like in The Boys, and spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet. In The Boys episode 1, season 3, you can see an oversized penis head and a bug-sized man running into the shaft of a penis. And I was just like, wow. Like,
you never seen anything like that before?
I mean, have you?
I mean, I watch Almodovar movies and they get like that. So I
don't even know what that is.
Almodovar is a dude, director, and his movies get like that.
When you say they get like that, like that's happened in his movie?
Yeah. And not necessarily a penis, but you're gender normative, so it's shocking to you. But it's in the vagina. It happens in the vagina.
A bug-sized man runs into a vagina in one of his movies?
Yeah, and lives there.
He lives inside of a vagina?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like you gotta send me a link to that. I'm just like, wait, what? And here's the thing. And don't get me wrong, I can understand 100% why we would equate those two things.
Yeah.
But
the violence that happens is different. That's where.
But
yeah.
Listen. Let's not even get to the violence. The fact of the matter is like in America,
yeah,
the idea of a man living in a vagina is a whole different thing than a man running into a penis.
I mean, I get it. Yeah,
yeah. It should be equitable because it's like, well, they're both sexual organs,
right?
But they're not equitable.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not making a judgment in the sense like I'm saying like, oh, one should happen and one shouldn't. I'm just saying, I'm just making the realization that those two things aren't the same thing. And like people in America would see one of those things, and you know, there's a segment of the population that would be like, wow, that's intense. But there's a whole nother segment of the population that would be like, I've been waiting for this. And those same people that are like, oh, I've been waiting for this would look upon that same scene that we saw in The Boys and be like, what is this trash? You know, you know what I'm saying? And that's a thing. Like, I can openly admit that I was like, wow, I was not expecting this, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize that this is what I was going to do in this show.
And it's before the credits. Like right after that, it's The Boys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't realize that that's what I was gonna do. But I'm not saying like it's not me making a judgment like, oh, this shouldn't have happened. It was just like, wow, I'm shocked because I didn't realize this is where we were at. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Those same people that will watch the movie you're talking about and be like, oh no, I mean, a man running into a vagina and living there, that's art. But a dude running into the shaft of a man's penis, well, that's just lewd and should not happen. Like those people are the same people.
Yeah, not me though. I think it's
I'm not saying it's you. I know, right? I'm just saying that, you know, and so I'm just like, wow, like it's wild because I was just like, I didn't know that there was a movie.
The dude was circumcised because, like, I wanted a little preamble where he gets the foreskin and just like treats it like a blanket. You know, and then gets a little like smegma on his hair. It's like, oh, maybe I can style my hair with this.
Not smegma.
Why not?
Schmegma.
Schmegma.
Molten schmegma.
Yeah. You know, and as lewd or as that could be perceived, like the real cringe factor for me was the psychic violence at the end with the chick. Like that's where I was like the way she just psychically chopped his hand in half and then fucking ripped off his jaw. Like it's
yeah.
You know, we see, you know, reading X-Men and shit, you see psychokinetic violence, you know, with, you know, maybe breaking somebody's arm. But the way they showed it here was like, whoa, this is a whole other level than I never seen.
Yeah.
To me, that was the new and cringy and stepping it up for me. The dick one wasn't as innovative for me. The violence itself, like the way they showed how it exploded, like it was cringy, but it's like, you know, I saw it coming when he started sneezing right off the first line. I was like, oh, this is gonna go bad. Like if somebody sneezes before they go down on you, you're like, hey, no, you know what? It's okay. Yeah.
Listen, Mo, I'm gonna ask you a real question here.
Yeah.
Have you ever not had a woman go down on you because she sneezed previous to that?
The
answer to that's no.
What I will say is that I was concerned that my dick would sneeze after. I don't want my dick.
But,
but you know, it's just the thing is he's like, you know, being small requires, especially in that guy's power. It's not like, you know, they got pin particles. You know, like that sneeze is like, okay, that's an involuntary action, and he can't control it. That's gonna lead to I mean, you can't. I live in fear sneezing and driving. So I can imagine crawling through a dude's urethra, and then and they did it well too, where he's like, oh shit, he's about to sneeze. It's like almost like a Three Stooges sneeze, where he's like, yeah. But the other violence, that's the one for me where she ripped off his jaw, and he's like breathing, and they just show you like with no jaw, it's essentially gruesome. Drowning in his blood, still alive. And I was like, man, that's some fucking Hellraiser agony shit. Like, I love it. And then she just fucking blows him up altogether to put him out of his misery. It's fucking amazing.
And it's interesting because at the same time, despite this being like a thing where, you know, I feel like in America, this is like a boundary pushing kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still very, like, when you're talking about the act of this man running into another man's penis, it was still very stylized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they showed us a whole penis.
Yeah.
Because they didn't. They showed us enough that we understood what it was that was happening, but it was still like done in a way that you're like if it was Europe, it would be done in a completely different way, probably.
Right.
You know what I mean? But on the other hand, when it came to the violence that you're talking about with this psychic like explosion stuff, it's like they showed that to us very explicitly. So we knew exactly what was happening at every point. And I think that is a very emblematic kind of demonstration of America and what it is that we allow to happen here and what we don't allow to happen here. Like, you can't show a man just straight up running into another man's penis. But if you want to show a person blowing up another person piece by piece, oh yeah, we can show that to you here in America. And it kind of just goes to show the difference between how we feel about, you know, like, even though, like, I don't know if you want to call it sex, but it's like, because it's so like outside the realm of what we would normally consider sex, but that's the whole point, right? It's like, even when you're talking about fantastical kind of things, like, you can't show things like, no man can shrink down to the size of a bug and run into another man's penis. Like, that's not something that can happen in real life. But we still can't show that to you explicitly because America's not ready for that. But if you want to show a person like destroying another person piece by piece, which is something that can happen in real life, not psychically, or at least not that we know of.
In the 80s,
it can happen. Huh?
In the 80s.
In the 80s? Right, exactly. It's like, you can show that explicitly and we'll be okay with it. So that's interesting.
What I wish they would have shown was how aroused the dude was. Like, he's walking in the urethra like a tunnel. Like, that tunnel should have been shrinking the more aroused he got, right?
Listen, I have no idea. Like, honestly, I was watching the whole thing happen and I was just like, would that even feel good? I don't know that it would.
I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think so either, but I don't know.
You know, I mean, you know, different folks with different strokes.
Listen, right, but the dude was getting off on it. Like, he felt like, and here's the thing. It's like, obviously there are different things that feel good for different people. Like, you know, not everybody has the same, like, androgynous zones.
There's the whole the dominatrix stuff where they do the insertion on the dudes like that with like Q-tips. Right. So I guess it could be one of those things, you know. But
I guess I
don't know. That's not me.
Right, and that's how I felt about it. Where I was just like, what I know is, for me, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to tell somebody else how to get their jollies. You know what I'm saying? You know, if that's what makes you feel good, then hey, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? But, you know,
God bless you.
How'd you feel about it, Jay?
I was cool with it. Like,
There it is.
yeah, it was.
Jay's like been there, done that, right?
I wouldn't say that.
In the in the moonlight.
In the moonlight. But no, I feel you, Jay. I'm like, right. It's like, no, you're like, and I agree. Like, I'm with you in the sense that it's like, no, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, why would anybody do that? Because you can say that about anything sexually.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a lot of people that have a lot of different types of fetishes and particular preferences.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who are you to say, well, you shouldn't be excited about that sexually?
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like, no, like
Congress can do that.
right. So I'm not the dude that's gonna be like, oh nah, man, you shouldn't feel good in that particular realm. It's like, no, man, listen, do you?
Up until 7 or 8 years ago, I think LA could tell you not to do that. Like
LA?
Yeah, the LA County, like it was illegal to have anal sex in LA County.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I didn't realize that was the case. But okay.
There's a whole protest about it.
I actually remember being a kid and watching people get arrested for it. Like they had this big sting on the news.
Yeah.
For people having anal sex?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even Blink-182 wrote a song about it. Well,
really?
Had a lyric in the song where your husband was arrested on sodomy.
Oh, damn. See, listen. I was too indoctrinated. I was out here going to Catholic school and didn't even realize. I was like, nah, man.
Oh yeah,
like,
Catholics are all about the anal. They love that.
Not the Catholics I knew.
No, the girls. Like they that's how it's not a sin technically because there's no way you can get pregnant, so you're not wasting the thing.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, but neither does a man in the sky telling you can't have sex before marriage. But there we are.
Or does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Mo? What'd you say, Jay?
Never mind. I was going to comment on that, but I changed my mind.
Fair. So, you all watched episode 1 through 3 of season 3 of The Boys?
I watched half of episode.
You watched half of episode 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fair. Like, I get it. Like, you know, you only got so much time, Mo. You're out here running a business and taking care of your family and all this other kind of stuff. So I understand.
Looking for the show.
Right. All types of stuff. So, episodes 1 through 3, Jay, what was your just like kind of general impression?
General impression?
Yeah.
For the most part, it was amazing. Like, I didn't want to hear that little girl singing. Like, she was not good. Like, they pretended she was.
What little girl singing?
The Asian girl.
The Starlight flashback?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Okay.
But overall, yeah, I really liked it. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
Some bad stuff too, but mostly good.
Okay. And Mo, like you said, you watched like basically like 1.5 episodes.
Yeah.
What was your general impression?
It's 5 stars. Like I literally, once we're done with the show, I'm gonna go and watch season 2 and then catch up all over again.
Yeah, you definitely should, man. I think you're gonna really.
That's literally my plan.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, it's like, you know, I watched season 2 and I feel like a part of where The Boys excels is that it offers political commentary, but it doesn't ever feel very preachy.
Yeah.
And you know, some spoilers here for the first 3 episodes if you all haven't seen it. But I feel like even like what they're doing in the beginning of this season, where you have a point where like you have Homelander and he just like decides to be himself and speak from the heart in regards to like what he thinks about things, and that gives him a boost in his ratings. And like if you've watched The Boys, the TV show throughout the first 2 seasons, like the ratings for these different heroes is a big part of who they are and how they operate, because if they're popular, that means that they have more clout, and if they're less popular, they have less clout. And so Homelander basically just saying what he feels and doing what he wants, and then it having a positive effect is very like indicative of like the whole Trump era of things. But it doesn't ever say that explicitly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't like hit you over the head with it. And it's just like one of those things. Like, I'm sure there are people that watch that joint and are just like, yeah, like he's being a straight shooter.
Well, according to WeGotThisCovered.com, there's a group that hates how political The Boys is.
I don't even know if you're being serious or
I'm not being serious.
I don't even know, because that could have happened on We Got This Covered. I don't know, like I don't even know. But that's the whole point. Where it's like
Orville season 3, like they're mad at
right. I do know that. Right. It's so funny, man. But that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's one of these things where it's like I'm like The Boys. I feel like is riding a line that a lot of other shows haven't had the opportunity to do. And I might be wrong about that. Maybe I'm not just talking to the right people that, there might be some people that feel different. But I feel it seems to me like it's riding this line, and there are people that are on both sides of the political spectrum that can take from it what they want. And that's something that I feel like a lot of other shows that get accused of being called woke. Like, I don't feel like The Boys is the kind of show that somebody would be like, oh, this is woke.
Right. And it like even in a way it is, but it's not like it's not really. It's basically just showing you what kind of like how people say about these things when it's showing you a couple different, like two sides, like it's not one way or another.
Both sides, exactly. Mo. You're right. Both sides have points. You're right.
Yeah. Well, many sides.
Many sides. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point. Make it.
Talk about the Votland and how they like try to be woke about it, and it's like technically, like I could take that as like, oh, they don't like how woke things are, or they're like, maybe they don't like how corporate exploitation is,
which is how the whole point.
Yeah,
they're right. Exactly. Like if depending on what your political leanings are, you can look at it one way and you could be like, yeah, man, like they're messing around. Like, yeah, those corporations are always trying to prey upon this stuff and like get more money from the stuff they don't believe in. Or you could mess around and look at it the other way and be like, yeah, man, like those corporations know that that's all BS and they do it to make money, but that's that's the only reason they do it. And at the end of the day, like you can, I'm not saying it's an actual line they're trying to ride. I'm just saying that the way they do it is so smart that however you want to read into it, you can read into it and you feel good about it.
Right. There's no like boycotting of the show because of it.
Right. Yeah. Because The Boys at the end of the day is basically doing what it does on both ends, where it's like it's talking about the commentary from all the angles at once. It feels like, and how you want to interpret their particular angle is kind of up to you, and
like
that's what makes
take on things, like
right. And so or at least what used to be a comedian's take on things. And who knows? I might just got canceled for that comment. Who knows?
Yeah, comedian take.
Well, look, I didn't get canceled because I don't even have enough people that like me to get canceled.
I'm a comedian.
So
Yeah, hey, you're canceled, Larry. Canceled.
And
you're back. You're reinstated.
Yay! Thank you. I'll never masturbate in front of people again. So but anyway, so it's really interesting, and it's crazy because it's kind of like, I feel like a part of what The Boys does in their boundary pushing and like showing you things that would be considered maybe politically or potentially politically incorrect is how they get away with putting in their message of political correctness in a subversive kind of way. Like, once you show like the dude running into the other guy's penis, and then that guy ended up getting like eviscerated.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you license to be able to talk about whatever else you want to talk about, as long as you kind of present it in a way where it's like people can see themselves from every angle.
Yeah.
So it's wild. It's a wild thing, man. It's a wild ass show. Like, but at the same time, it's like everything you want from a TV show, despite you maybe not feeling that way. Like I could totally see somebody that like has never watched The Boys before, right? If they just start with season 3, they might be turned off because they're like, this is not what I do. But if you stick with it, you're going to see your point of view represented.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of crazy, because where we started was a dude running up another man's penis. Right. Which is like, look, up until like just a few days ago is a sentence I never thought I would have said out loud. Like, where we started is with a man running up another man's penis. I didn't even know that. Like, if you had told me 10 years ago that that's a sentence I would utter on Fantastic Forum, I'd be like, nah, man, I'm not. Like, maybe Mo or Oz is gonna say that, but I'm not gonna say that. But it turns out I am.
So yeah, I take it you give it a 5 out of 5.
I would.
Yeah.
100%. Look, it's everything you want from a television show.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's funny. It has interesting ideas. It has outrageous ideas.
Good performances.
It amazing performances. It goes too far. It feels like there's a place for it to go still. It's like I can't, like, I'm just like, it's crazy to me, because I would have said to you that The Boys last season went as far as The Boys should go. And then I watched this season and I'm like, well, I guess I was wrong about that. And I think I love it more than I did last season. So I'm just like it's crazy, because it's like, it makes me think about stuff in the crudest ways. And that's weird, because it's like one of these things where it's like, when something can be both like, or I'll say feel, because I don't know, I might be wrong here, but The Boys to me feels both pedestrian and intellectual at the same time. And
I think you've described me like that, Larry.
I think you're right, Moses. What were you gonna say, Jay?
Did you read the article where Jensen Ackles was actually refused to do a scene because it was too crude?
No. What scene was that? Did he mention it?
I believe it's during the Hero-gasm episode.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people had a lot of issues with that episode.
And he was actually talking to Kripke like, look, I'm a father, I have kids, like I didn't know what my line was, but you found it and I can't do it.
Oh wow.
And so they ended up having to talk it out and adjusting the scene to get it to where he was okay with it.
And that's the thing, like because I've read the comics, I know what the Hero-gasm is, but I don't know what The Boys is going to do with that particular episode. And so, I mean, like, here's the thing. It's like, it's hard to say just because it's like for instance, just like for example, like, you have the scene in The Boys television show, right? Where you have the whole thing with Starlight and the Deep. And he basically is like forcing her to fillet him, right? Yeah. And that's like a big kind of thing that happens in the course of this TV show. And it's messed up. And, there are people that feel all types of ways about that particular scene in The Boys television show. In the comic, that joint is like 3 people. So it's worse in the comic. Now, that's not to say that there are not other things in the TV show that maybe go a little bit further than the comic does, but it's like, I mean,
in the show, they did it back to him with the whole fingering his gills shit.
Right, yeah. Right.
And it was
yeah.
But I didn't read the comic once the TV show was announced. So.
Okay, that's fair. But it's one of these things where it's just kind of like, I mean, like, it's hard to mess around and be like, okay, like, I mean, there are aspects of the comic in my mind that have their, like, that you can mess around and be like, oh, okay, well, the comic does it this way, and that's, in my mind, a better version. And there's parts of the TV show that I'm like, I can honestly say that, like, I feel like the TV show might have done a better job of it. But at the same time, too, is keeping in mind that, the comic is done in one era and the TV show is done in a different era. So, yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Ninja Sister.
Hey, Ninja. Dude, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but Ninja, like, friggin', like, messed around and got a big promo in real life.
Yeah.
And
congratulations.
Yeah. Like, Ninja is actually going to be, if I'm not mistaken, like I was mentioning earlier, how E3 week begins like this upcoming week, and Ninja's going to be like hosting the
presentation. One of the presentations, right?
Yeah, one of the presentations for Microsoft and Bethesda coming up Sunday. So, because she works for Microsoft now. So, yeah, Ninja right there just says, yeah, I effed around and I'm hosting the virtual FanFest watch party on Sunday. Like, dude, congratulations, Ninja Sister. Well deserved. Overdue. And guess what? Fantastic Forum will be there to support you Sunday because I can't wait. I can't wait. Like, I don't even know what the details are yet, but whether it's chat, live stream, you gotta like have a camera and whatever it is, you let me know and I will be there because I'm like excited. It's gonna be a good time, man. I'm so happy for her. But anyway. So look, we should rate the boys.
Yeah, you gave it 5 already.
I did give it a 5 already. So you don't need to know what I think.
That was me segging.
What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I would give it a 5.
What do you think, Mo?
Hold
on, Mo. But what, Jay?
No, you can go to Mo.
No, but what, Jay?
No, I was just gonna say there's some things I don't like about it, but for the most part, everything is excellent.
Well, okay, but what? Well, yeah, what don't you like about it?
Well, I know like they're doing the kind of like the love triangle thing with Huey and I forgot the other guy's name from the Hero show. And I'm like not a huge love triangle. Well, when it's done, yeah, sometimes the way it's done can be annoying.
Yeah,
right.
I only like it when it's 2 dudes and the girl in the moonlight in the Navy. Shout out to Jay. Thank you for your service, Jay.
Like, there was no love there.
Oh, love with that pussy.
Oh my god.
But
So,
yeah.
I gotta stop saying pussy. It's so offensive. Delicious, but offensive.
Just say Monka.
I don't think I can say that. Too many syllables. Doesn't roll out. Doesn't have the right tongue feel.
I love how you feel like Monka has different syllables than pussy.
No, I mean, it just flows off the tongue differently.
Got it.
It sounds too masculine. Monka sounds too masculine.
It literally has man in it.
Monco?
Yeah.
Yeah, even more. In Spanish, is a dude.
Yeah, in Japanese, that's pussy.
Mo, what do you think about the boys?
Look, it's 5 out of 5. It's compelling storytelling, awesome performances, and even like the girl that was Stormfront. I didn't get to see her in action in season 2, but seeing her here. Yeah, but she's a fantastic actress. She's
amazing.
I started watching her on a show called You're the Worst, and she was great in that. And there's another show called Welcome to Flatch that looks terrible, and I tried watching it and it's unwatchable. But she's in it, so I'm probably gonna watch that too. So seeing her here, I think it's the best I've seen her act ever here. When she's giving Homelander the hand job while she's all deformed and burned up. It's
so sad.
Yeah, it's amazing. So it's 5 out of 5 for me. And I like I said, once we're done here, I'm gonna stay up all night, watch season 2, so I could keep watching.
There you go.
Ninja Sister says I'm super late to the boys, by the way, but I'm enjoying it.
Good to know, Ninja. Good to know. Are you all good to like talk about the closet real quick?
I can do that. Jay, you good?
Yeah.
We could do 10 minutes.
All right.
I already have my
Let's do it.
This year.
There we go. Let's do it. Do we need to play another theme or no?
Technically.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
Jay, you want to tell us about the closet?
Yeah. So a boy says there's a monster in his closet, and his dad doesn't believe him, and then the book ends. Like, this book gives you fucking nothing except really decent characterization of the father. But I mean, that's not what I came like. Man, this book is so lacking in substance. It feels weird reading this book. And then you find out it's a 3-part series, and it's like, what's here that's supposed to make me want to read part 2 and 3? Like, it's, I don't know. I was disappointed, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book.
Yeah, look, I wasn't disappointed like Jay. I loved every second of it. It created a mood, and it, you know, even the way that it chose to. A guy went out for tape and it went to a bar to avoid his family and avoid his chores and just vent, tell you everything you know while he's venting. The rest of the book is essentially silent until he's fighting with his wife and the boy is freaking out. I read this book while Homelander and Billy Butcher were having a conversation about his son. That's how long it took me to read it, and I loved it. Like, that's how I did my show prep today. And so it was an easy read that created enough tone and an experience that I ignored the show. I had to rewind it again because I'm like, oh, I missed something important here. And usually something that isn't in motion, like a comic book, is my attention is taken away by something in motion when I try to do the two things at once. And I mean, we talk about tone, man. The art itself was not, it's not what you go for in comics necessarily, but even horror comics. But here it just did hit it right. Like when it got to the scary part, I actually felt a scare that I would feel watching a movie. And it's not even like a jump scare. It's just that tone. Like, let's see if I can share this screen real quick. I'm moving fast because, you know, we got to get out of here. But, but like this page right here, the kid's looking at the closet. The light had turned off and on, and he's looking, and it's just zooming in like a movie would, jumping, and let's see, where's the? Oh no, that's Harley. then it goes into that, and I'm like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
There's no words, there's no sound effect on the boy, like
right.
No word bubble, no nothing, no lettering. It's just sheer raw emotion. And that decision to not include any kind of like a click with the light coming back on, a creak here or a motion line here, it's just static, and you're just locked in that moment of terror as that little boy is. And those 2 pages give that book for me 4 stars automatically, because it's just well done. And it created an experience. And the fact that it's only 3, that adds another. This is gonna be a 7-star book, because it's like, yeah, I don't have to, you know, I'm gonna read 3 books, and I'll be done, and that's it. I don't have to worry about nothing else.
Yeah. No, I mean, I will say I agree 100% with you, Moses, in the sense that this book did a masterful job of introducing you to characters, which, Jay, you acknowledge, and I understand that you're like, about it, but it introduced you to characters. It gave you a scenario, and then it put you in like the shoes of this little kid. And what I can tell you is this: I know for myself, I feel 100% like I've been that little child. Like I was that kid. And
you know that little kid when you were watching Sadako last week.
100%.
That'll be up here somewhere. Subscribe, like, hit the bell. That should be up sometime this week.
But it's like, I don't know that I messed around and was like, I thought monsters were in my closet, because I don't think I thought that was the case, but I thought there was something somewhere and it was coming for me. And this little kid had that feeling, and I was like, man, these parents, like, they're more concerned with their own thing than making sure their kid feels like secure. And, you know, I felt fortunate because I don't feel like my parents were on that page. I think my parents were 100% about me feeling secure. But I related because I was just like, even when my parents were like, oh, you're secure, you're good, like, I got you, I still didn't necessarily feel that way. Because
when you were scared like that, your dad was still around too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me write that into my Larry notes.
Yeah, because, you know, keep in mind that
we're here no.
And I guess, you know, I mean, who knows? Like, it might be a thing where it was just one, like, maybe it was a function of my dad leaving, where I was like, hey, you know, I mean, no one ever said to me, like, okay, you're the man of the house now. No one ever said that, because my mom is not, like, so silly to say something like that to me, where I'm 7 and it's like, oh, you're the man of the house now. No, my mom's not going to do that. But it was one of those things where it was just like, you know, maybe, huh?
I hate you, Larry, because even in the dysfunction, you got functional support system.
Well, I mean, hey,
at 5 years old,
you
got to take care of this little girl. Don't let me catch her being unsafe while he's going off to jail for some bullshit. And my mom goes to work 24/7.
Nah, man. Listen, I got good parents. I'm not saying they're perfect. They're not perfect people, but they're good parents. And that's the whole thing, where it's just like, you know, no undue burdens. And it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like, I might not necessarily feel as secure as I could, but no one put any additional burdens on me. And so I was just like, dude, like, you know, there might have been a part of myself that was just like, okay, like, I got to help my mom get through this particular point in time. But that was a personal choice, not like a choice that was forced upon me. You know what I mean? And so that's the whole thing, where it's just like, man, like, and so I get it. Like, don't look, I don't think of myself in general as a brave person. You know, it's like, I do things and I face fears, and I understand that technically that's what bravery is. Like, technically, like, bravery is not the absence of fear. Yeah. It's making moves in spite of being afraid. I get that. But at the same time, it's just like, dude, I read a lot of comics, and the heroes I know, they don't seem afraid. You know, they don't feel afraid to me. I've never read a comic of Captain America, and I was like, man, this guy's scared shitless. Not one. I've never read an issue of X-Men and be like, man, Cyclops is peeing himself. And it's not to say they don't feel any fear. It's just they don't show it, and they don't even show it in the fictionalized comic. You know what I mean? And that's like maybe that's a byproduct of the society we live in here in America. But either way, it doesn't matter. What I know in reality is that, you know, in real life, people are scared, and they do things despite being scared. And so, you know, that's what I kind of try to operate in when I can, when I have to. Like, this is why I don't watch scary movies. I don't have to be brave. I don't have to be brave. Because that's fiction. I don't, like, why would I? Listen, let me save all of my brave points. Shout out to Bravely Default. Let me save all my brave points for, like, the next school shooting. You know what I'm saying? Let me save all my brave points for when my friends are actually in danger, and I have to decide, like, damn, am I gonna let them take that, or am I gonna jump in front of them, or am I gonna like tackle somebody? Like, let me save that for that moment.
You know,
the police might need some brave points also.
Well, Larry has this thing, like, he's not the bravest dude around. He doesn't consider himself brave, and he gets scared at seeing movies and shit. But he's definitely not the dude that panics when he gets scared. That's one thing I know about him. So that alone is 2 steps above other people sometimes.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, panic don't help.
Right,
like,
but
panicking in a crisis situation doesn't get us to the other side. And so that's the whole thing where I'm just like, dude, and that's why I'm like, dude, I live in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to mess around and like put myself in a situation where I have to like have a fight or flight response. You know, it's like that might happen just in everyday life. So it's like, let me just save that for then.
You never walk around thinking about fight or flight or on the defense ever? Like,
I mean, I keep my head on the swivel because I grew up in the neighborhood. Like, I grew up in I grew up in Mid-City, LA.
Yeah.
I've lived in South Central LA, but I mean, like, Mid-City and South Central is basically the same thing, depending on like what part. You know, it's like, you know. Like, but I'm just saying, like, it's like
north of Washington.
In my mind, it's like all I'm doing is being aware of my environment, and I know what my environment is like, and what it can be like, and what it can turn into. Like a good day could turn into like the worst day of your life real quick. So it's just like, you know, in my mind, it's like I don't need to like try to like have like or invoke some sort of like bad day response. Like, I don't need to do that. Like, that junk could just happen. And look, I'm very blessed in the sense like it most days it doesn't. You know, I've had many more good days than bad. But I'm just saying, like, you know, what I know is like, you know, a good day could go from a bad day really quick. And I've been in that scenario too. Right, exactly.
Back to the comment.
The closet. Wait, but that's the thing. The closet does a great job of invoking that. Because as a child in a scenario where you're like, I'm telling my parents I'm super scared and they're not feeling me. Like, I've been in that scenario. And not only have I been in that scenario, but I mean, like, I've been in that scenario as an adult. You know? And so it's one thing. Well, I mean, look, you can laugh or you can cry. I choose to laugh. You know? And I feel very fortunate that I get to be that person. Because, yeah. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, dude, like, and even, look, Mo, even when we were together and we got pulled over, I was just like, damn, like, this can go really poorly. And it's like, I'm going to play this as cool as I can. And hopefully we get on the other side of this and we're all good. And don't get me wrong, like, it turned out really poor for you. And that sucks, because if it could have been better, you know, I would have made it so.
Yeah. But
I did the best I could in that scenario. And it's like, at the end of the day, it turned out better for us than it could have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's messed up because it still turned out bad, but
I count it as a win because, you know, they said my windows were too dark tinted, but I didn't get a ticket or fix a ticket for it. So I'm like, racism won. We got
that's right. And that's how you know that BS, right? They just pulled us over because they made an assumption. Yeah. And then when they saw that, it's like, oh man, this doesn't fit our scenario at all. Right. They're like, wait, who's this guy? Oh man, I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. Wait a minute, he's Mexican? What's happening? They're like, who's the black guy? He has no record?
The Mexican sheriff thought I was white.
they were just like, dude, this is like, I guess we gotta let him draw the car away. I don't know what's happening. Like, they were confused as us. So, you know, but anyway, the fact of the matter is James Tynion is out here tapping into some Primal Fear type stuff as a child and as an adult, because that's the beauty of this book.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you looked at it on a surface level, you'd be like, oh man, this guy's little son is afraid of the dark. Yeah. And that's true. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is also a book about this adult and this dude like not feeling comfortable and afraid of what his life is turning into.
Right. And the changes that come with it. It's that unknown is just as dark as that closet.
Exactly. And I'm sure that's going to get explored when these next couple issues come into play, where it's like, you know, it's going to start with the kid, but it's going to go into everybody. Because even the wife, like, we don't see her as much in this first issue, but you can tell it's like, man, this wife has a whole set of things going on with her that it would be a shame if they don't get explored. If they don't get explored, I'm like, well, James Tynion is obviously a sexist. We all know that, right, Jay?
You know, judging from the descriptors on the books, they mention the son and the dad. They don't mention the wife.
Right. There it is. Fact. We got to cover news headline exclusive. James Tynion, sexist.
Misogynist.
I thought it was Tynion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tynion. You're right. It is Tynion, right?
I think it is, because that's why his website is tinyonion.com.
Right. Tynion. Sexist, misandrist.
Yeah.
Fantastic Forum. We got it covered.
This book hits like just the flow, the fact that it's 3, like, I have really high hopes for it. I'm excited to read the rest, and that's why I give it a 5 out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 because it scared me.
So the pictures I saw, Larry, I know you felt something. The pictures I showed earlier, when you flipped the page and you saw that, like, how did you feel?
Wait, which pictures?
The ones I shared earlier, where the thing creeps out of the closet.
Oh,
and then
then
it just
goes like
back at him, like
Look, the whole thing, like, is so eerie, and that's the messed up part too. Because when and I'm like, damn, did the closet like leave? Like, the closet move? And the kid's like, he's going with us, and I'm like, son of a bitch, like, that's messed up, man. Like, this poor kid is never gonna be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he might be functional.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be like
a podcast with his friends.
Exactly. Right. Look. The end. This is the end of the line. You're welcome. Right. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say
the fact that they could get like, it got a reaction from me while I was watching The Boys. I read it in the middle of the conversation, and it got a reaction from me. So I'm like, man, I can only imagine how Larry felt watching this, because I'm like, I felt the eeriness, and you know, getting that reaction, that tone on a medium like a comic, that I didn't even have like okay, let me read this, you know, by myself in a room by myself. Like, I was in a room full of people, or three people total, and my 2 dogs fighting, and reading it on my iPad, you know, and it's like rushing through it, and I still got it. It's like, man, this is a well put together book.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Also, I mean, Jay, do you want to rate it real quick?
I give it a 3. I did enjoy it, and the art and the characterization and the characters. I don't know. I just feel like I would have enjoyed this as a better experience reading the trade.
Got you. But the trade would, like, I mean, 3 issues. I don't even know if you make that into a trade, do you?
Yeah, you make it into an original graphic novel.
Okay, right.
It's like
You're
Raven's
right.
Last Hunt.
So OGN, right? The Closet OGN.
Right.
Which is a misnomer because it's not an original graphic novel. It's 3 issues put together. but I'll give you that. You're right. Like, you know, you can call it a graphic novel. You gotta just get rid of the O.
Yeah.
You know, but that's fair. That's fair. But no, it's a good book. I mean, at the end of the day, like, and don't get me wrong, like, I can totally understand why Jay, being the person he is, would be like, wasn't that eerie to me? And I'm not mad at that. Like, I understand that, you know, for me, like, I know that what's eerie to me may not necessarily affect the two of you. And then also, too, what I know is, like, Mo, like, you know, you can appreciate a certain level of style that, like, gets you, like, you know, it immerses you into the story.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's not to say that Jay wouldn't appreciate it. It's just that it doesn't affect him in the same way. You know, like, I think, you know, you gave it a 3, Jay. So I know that at the very least, you're recognizing a certain level of craft.
It did.
No, I actually really like this book a lot. Like,
right.
Like, if it were just the entire thing, it would probably be like a 5 out of 5.
Well, there you go, and that's what it is. Like, yeah,
because I have to wait.
Right.
Like, I really do think I would have enjoyed this experience more, like, as a trade.
Yeah.
So if he had just released it as a trade instead of doing the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Then I would have probably, been head over heels for this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It just because it is really good. Like, everything that's given is good. The art, I love that he didn't even come back with the right kind of tape. Like, that's like, it's just really well done. Like,
yeah,
you know, this would be like this opening in a movie would be like how you know you're in for a good movie.
I agree.
And,
well, a good horror movie.
Yeah.
They could be a good movie and a good horror movie, Larry.
Well, no. I mean, it could be, but chances are a good horror movie and a good movie, that's not always the same thing. It's oftentimes it's not. But this could be both. It could be.
You need to watch more horror movies.
I don't.
You need to watch Hereditary.
Remember? No, man. I saw Macaulay Culkin. I'm good. But anyway, what I'm saying is, yeah, and I get what you're saying, Jay. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're right. Like, I think it's like, it affected you different. And I feel like, you know, you have a different tolerance for this particular kind of thing. And I'm not mad at that. And I think your score is a fair score as well. So, you know, yeah, that it is what it is with The Closet, and hopefully people will check it out and let us know what they think of it. What I will say is, slightly changing topic. Say what?
I pre-ordered the next 2 issues already.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, look, you gave it a 3, but you're like, I'm gonna read the next 2 automatic. So
he gave it a 3, but he gave it $10.
Right. Exactly. Like, look.
Well, like I said, it'll probably be a 5 once it's finished.
You know, I agree. Anyway, what I was gonna say is this: I should mention real quick, and you know, and when I say real quick, I do mean quickly because I know we're like over time. So apologies here. No, I do mean quickly. I did read.
You're wasting time responding to me.
I did read Sadako, and you were 100% correct in how you like. Jay said to me, "I read Sadako at the End of the World." Is that the name of the title? That's the name of it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's it.
Jay said the last page actually like scared me, and I was like, "Man, like." that's weird for Jay to say because very few things scare Jay. And I'll read this book, and because I know what comics are like it's not going to scare me at the end. And I was wrong. I read it to the end, and I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I'm out here like, I'm home alone. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, do I need to go out, like, after the show just to be with people? So I'm like, I don't pee on myself. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can't give you any answers. I don't know if I'm going to be here at home at the end of this show or if I'm going to go out somewhere else and go, like, just be amongst the folks.
Is this what scared you, Larry?
Nah, that ain't it.
No.
You got to listen.
At the end of the book.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for Sadako at the end of the world. Basically, Sadako, the two kids she's hanging out with are dead, and she's basically the last person on Earth, and she's wondering why she still exists if there's no people left to, like, curse. And then she, like, breaks the fourth wall to look at you. It's like, oh, you're the last person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
it's really the last, like, 4 pages that scare you, not the last page.
No. It's the last page because it's not the last 4 pages.
She's like, oh, there you are. And she, like, comes out of the comic, essentially.
Yeah, but that's, like, literally in the manner of, like, 2 pages. Because
I just went through it. I bought it.
It's not. It's literally like the last page is her, like, realize, or the second to last page is her realizing, oh, there's you.
Yeah.
And then the page after that is like, oh, she's, like, breaking the fourth wall and, like, coming out the panel.
Right.
And that's the thing. And don't get me wrong, there's pages after that, but that's not like when Jay talks about the last page, he's talking about
the story page. It's the last 3 pages. She kills the little kids. Right. That's 1 page, 2, 3. So it's the last 3 pages.
I mean, but if you go back one more page, Jay. Like, that page doesn't count.
That's when she realizes she's not dead.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with you.
Right. Well, it does, because that's when she's like, okay, the last kids on Earth are dead. I'm still here. She's like, literally, she says, still not gone.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with you still, because you're like, you don't know that you're a part of that.
But that's where it starts. So it starts there. That's the first part of that. Then 2.
Well, I mean, if you say it like that, you could start that at the first page of the first panel.
Nah.
It's like you don't understand that you're a part of
Larry.
Huh?
I thought you said this was going to be quick.
Oh, okay. Listen, the quick version is Mo's wrong. I'm right. It starts 2 pages in because that's when I got scared. Because that's when Sadako looked at me, goddamn. And I was like, oh shit. And speaking of me getting scared, listen, I know that, like, I watched some stuff, Mo, too, and, like, we got a video coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
Of me react.
There's Sadako versus Kayako. We reviewed that 2 episodes back, and Larry would tape himself watching it, and that's going to be up probably, hopefully by Saturday. Like, maybe it'll be a weekend release. But what I do have for you is I have my brother reacting to Larry reacting to Sadako versus Kayako.
Of course you do.
It is.
Sons of bitches.
So yeah, there's 14 minutes of my brother watching Larry.
Really?
Yeah.
So he watched my entire thing.
Pretty much. We got interrupted, so then he stopped around 17. The edited down. You watched 36 minutes of it. The edited down version that we're gonna give the audience is 17 minutes of you watching.
I'm not mad at that.
He watched 14 and a half. Yeah. So
Well, listen, apparently
I feel so bad because it's like it's not like I want you to be scared and feel like that, but it's just so goddamn funny. Like watching you, it's like because it's like a real
little dude goes and then Boston comes up.
Oh man,
it's so messed up. And, you know, it's one of these things where it's like, no, I mean, I get what you're saying, Jay, and I believe you. But then at the same time, I don't, because I realize that if you really love me, you would just only show me, like, you know, like Raya and the Last Dragon. No, not
I tried to show you Kaizo Trap.
What's that? When did you try to show me that and I didn't look at it?
I don't remember, but it's in our Discord now.
Kaizo Trap? I don't know what that is, but
you know, like Mario Maker, those like super hard things. There's an animation like that.
Go in our Discord?
Yeah,
I'll go there.
Like
I don't know
about it. I told you about it before, but this time I put it in our Discord for you.
Okay, well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, it's wild because like between Sadako versus Kayako, or did I say that right?
No.
Oh, what is it?
It's Kayako.
Kayako. Sadako versus Kayako. And did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yay! And freaking watching like Sadako at the end of the world, and I was just like I'm telling you. Like, here's the thing. I told you all. I'm like, well, don't worry. Like, if you want me to read horror comics, it's not a big deal because I'm okay when I read horror comics. This is the first horror comic I've ever read where I'm just like, oh, son of a bitch. I'm just like I'm literally like, am I gonna be good tonight? I think so, but maybe not. And I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm gonna dream about because I'm just like, I'm not gonna dream about like a comic book panel. Am I? Maybe.
So
it's like should I drink more? I should drink more.
When you get scared by something, and like, because it happens to me, like I watch something scary and then I dream about it that same night, but I have fun in the dream with the scary shit. Like,
I don't. Well, one time I did. Like one time I watched something scary and then I had a dream where I was in. But there's like a twist ending. So I tried to get to that first before like all the terrible shit happened.
No, I always.
But mostly like, man, the dream I had when I watched what is it, Insidious?
Yeah.
And I was stuck in that house.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this shit.
I had the
that sucked.
Like with the red lighting and everything, and I was just chilling there. Like, hey, how you doing? You know how they have all the people just standing there in the mist, you know?
Yeah, I was running around the house trying to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell y'all, like the last like thing that I had that would be the closest equivalent to a nightmare was about like someone chasing me that was like trying to like shoot me.
Wow.
And it wasn't like, and that's the thing where it's like, you know, because again, I don't watch a lot of like horror stuff. So my like subconscious and my dreams aren't filled with a lot of like monsters and like random like things trying to get me. So I was like in a scenario where somebody was trying to like shoot me with a gun. And I was trying to like, you know, like maneuver so that I don't get shot, you know? And don't get me wrong, like understandably it's like that's very mundane in comparison to like a ghost or some sort of like supernatural thing trying to like get you. Like that's a whole different scenario, but I don't mess with that often. And so it's one of these things where I'm just like, at the very least in my head, when I have like what would be considered a nightmare, which is not like, I don't even think of that as an actual nightmare, because in my mind, I was like, well, I can navigate this. You know what I'm saying? If I'm having a dream about Sadako coming through a comic book panel to like touch me, that might be game over for me. I don't even know if I wake up.
I had a really bad nightmare, and it was a long time ago, but it's the last nightmare where I like woke up physically like in fear, like trembling in fear.
Yeah.
And it was that I was working my old job, and in the dream I'm like, I own my own business. Why am I here?
Wait, like Goodwill?
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I have my own business. I do something. I work for myself. Why am I? And I woke up sweating and trembling.
Hey,
that's the only nightmare I had like that.
That feels traumatic to me.
Yeah.
That feels very traumatic. So I don't
always having nightmares about my fucking past jobs.
If I could come into your dreams and be like your manager and promote you, I would.
Sometimes I dream that I work at Starbucks again. And
that's so long ago. You haven't worked at Starbucks in years.
Yeah, but in the dream I'm having fun. Like I love it. And then once the drama gets too much, I'm like, you know what? I own my own business. I'm out of here. I just take off my apron and leave.
Well, that doesn't sound like a nightmare. That sounds
no, that's not a nightmare. That's a fun dream. But
absolutely. You're like, F that. Yeah. No, thank you.
Milk Boy is dead. Says AFF, it's Milk Boy. Hey, man. Hello and goodbye.
What, Milk Boy?
We're about to get out of here.
Yeah, we are. It's time. Okay. Hey, look, anything else that you all want to say before we get out of here?
Jay, I owe you a big fuck you, man. Because you told me to watch, you can watch the new season of Young Justice. You just have to, just watch the New Gods. Like, you like New Gods, watch that. Man, I gotta go back and watch everything else because that shit's amazing.
It's true.
I don't have time.
He's right. Listen. I agree with Moses. F you, Jay. How dare you?
Zod character from the future is fucking tight. Like he's
he
awesome
is really he's amazing.
Just for that, like I'm like, man, I gotta watch everything. But Orion's good. Like even the fucking Forager shit is good. Like,
yeah. Dude, it's an amazing show. Yeah. And it's crazy because, like,
you told me they're like 45 minutes and they're not. They're like 20, 24, 25.
Did I say 45? I don't
know.
Larry said that. And my bad. You're absolutely right. They just feel dense.
They are dense. Like even just the therapy with Beast Boy, alone. It's like it's just the negotiations with like Rocket and Orion. Like that is just the drama is good. Yeah.
Wait, even like the post-credit kind of stuff, the stuff that happens in the credits where they're talking about stuff, and I'm like, damn, you know what? Like, I don't want to miss none of these anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I went back and was like, let me just listen to like what happens, what people are saying in the credits. There's no animation. They don't even move.
Yeah, they're just reading a paper or something.
Well, good news. The good news is the finale is tomorrow.
Yeah,
man, I'm so looking forward to that. Fuck everyone who is like, oh, Halo, you're too woke, or fuck you people, like talking about Halo's story sucks and they're too woke. Like, seriously, eat a dick, fuck off. Get the fuck out of my fandom.
But like and subscribe and hit the bell, please.
Listen, these are the same people Mo was talking about before with Kamala Khan. It's like I 100% feel like the same people that are like Halo is woke are the same people that are like friggin' there's too much politics in Miss Marvel. And it's like there's no politics. That's just a family that is different from yours, and not a lot, just a little bit. Like they happen to be from Pakistan. That's all. And they're like, it's too much. Why they gotta hit us over the head with this whole Pakistani shit? And it's like, they're not hitting you over the head. They're just like they're from Pakistan.
Their
like,
wardrobe is technically inaccurate, just so that you feel a little more comfortable.
These fools made like a Pakistani Hulk outfit,
yeah,
to make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy. And they had the Americanized, like, Pakistani child rejected to make you feel good. You know, it's like, dude, like, it's not even like she was like, yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, damn, that's a damn good compromise. I wish my parents were that willing to, like, accept me for my, like, weirdness. You know what I'm saying? I was a strange ass kid. I know that. And I'm not saying, like I will say that actually my mom was actually super good on realizing that. And at the end of the day, it's not like there was nowhere for me to go because I'm old. So there's no Avenger Con when I was a kid. I didn't even realize there was a San Diego Comic Con. I was like, oh. But that was before the internet, so whatever. Never mind. I'm out here just dating myself. I'm like, remember before Toast? Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
That was it. F you, Jay, for getting me on Young Justice.
Right. F you, Jay. You son of a bitch. Jay, final thoughts.
I'm currently obsessing over Rachel Argosi, Rhapsody, and I don't know why.
Wait, which Rhapsody?
From Marvel Comics, she was playing the bass or violin, cello at the Hellfire Gala.
Wait. Oh, okay. Listen, I'm gonna have a whole conversation with you off air about this. Wow, I love it. Okay. I don't usually give final thoughts, but my final thought is listen to the last final thoughts. Wow, look at these guys, right? They're amazing. So, you know, listen to what they had to say. And also, I should give Oz's final thoughts. What's Oz's final thought?
He.
Oh, I have an
I
Oz's.
believe his final thought would probably be that the rings don't work like that.
The rings don't work like that, no matter what Young Justice tells you. And what's that you got, Mo?
The Scorched Black cover came in the mail today.
That's awesome, but Oz doesn't care about that. Oz doesn't care about Spawn
But
Comics.
I handled this package.
Mo handled Oz's package, so he's happy. He's like, you know what? Let's talk about things I don't care about.
Oh, we got final thoughts from Oz.
Halo sucks.
Did new Halo come out today, or does it come out like Friday?
Just in general, like he thinks it sucks in general.
I'll let Oz have that. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, what you're like, I don't know if I need any more of that. And, you know, if you have ideas about what it is that you'd like us to talk about, we'd love to hear it. So, yeah, we're the Fantastic Forum. Until next week, or actually, what I'll say is we'll be back next week. Good night.